That's nice. It's good safety feature.
It's a problem, but it does work. And I say that once in a while we have problems, but so far we've had problems. And because of the way it works, it shows up as a disk drive instead of a flash drive. It kind of gets around the protections that are around the working. Yeah, so it's been a good solution.
Oh, how fun. Shake it in.
If you get a fire,
Oh, I got two. You want to pick which one I pick?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. I guess I'm not going today. I'm just going to dash. It's like, sir, you've been eliminated. What'd you get? Three. Three. It's a good number. I'll take it. Oh, that was fun.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Lee is first. Rebuild fund.
One more. Alright. I'll just spread them out a little bit.
Rebuild fund.
you're going to, flight to your local stuff.
I haven't got it yet. I appreciate the info, and I will do.
Is that when you buy it?
Yeah, we're going to try. Yeah, I try to get a couple hours there off Saturday.
Yeah, no,
Just outside. Okay.
I'm good. I appreciate the info.
So, we were
Pathetic.
Frisco.
Think it is.
It just got crazy.
The group was
It was
first.
just too much.
Put flags.
We still got that house. I'm sure what we're doing with it. Right now, it's 1%. So,
Well, I'm on HOS board. I'm in charge of the flag getting.
it's wild. Especially. It's good. Oh, you know.
You're not out.
No.
Just to get outside for social events. And pay.
You guys are,
Larry coming?
I haven't heard from anyone, I didn't work from there.
That's how planned I was.
Okay, call to order the meeting of the Park Board, July 8th, 2026. Start time is 6:03. Call to order and announce a quorum is present. Citizen participation and comments. Do we have anybody online?
We have Sarah online.
Okay. Items of community interest. The City of Haslet is hiring. Please visit Human Resources to apply. The consent agenda, 4A, discuss, consider, and act to approve the June 10th, 2026 meeting minutes. Anybody like to make a motion? Or do we want to go to the financials? Okay, we can go to the financials. June 2026 financial report. Do you pull that up? Hey, Katrina, is anything there you need to point out to us in particular?
Looks like our grand total on 4th of July right now is at 42,000. There could be a couple of lingering bills out there, but I think that's pretty close to what we spent for 4th of July, which means we're under budget. Does anybody have any questions about the June page or?
You probably don't have the bubble thing, do you? we added that last, the bubble pit, the snow pit. Oh, it's on there? Oh, okay, great.
But security is included too.
Okay. Is everybody okay? You see anything? Want to make a motion?
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from June 10th, 2026, and the financial report of June 2026 as well.
And we have a second?
It's Chuck, I'll second.
Okay, Chuck seconds. All in favor? As unanimous. Hey, 5A, hear presentations from selected playground vendors regarding design, concepts, equipment specifications, and pricing for community park playground replacement. Following the presentations, the board will discuss, consider, and act to make recommendation regarding purchase of new playground equipment for community park. And I think Cindy had them.
Yeah, let me just do a little clarification. I was on the original committee, and it didn't work out so well, so I contacted 2 other park vendors, and these 5 have agreed to bring their wares today. Hopefully the other 2 will show up in shortly. But what I did was, we sent them, hopefully you read your package, there was a scope of work, and it was exactly the same for each one of the companies. And we gave them some ideas of things that we didn't want from when we were on the committee. So they all had the same thing to start with, and I was their point of contact, and I copied everything to Katrina. We had a few questions. A few of them I answered individually, but if it can pertain to all of the groups, I sent that out to all of them with my answers, so everybody had the same information from one person, and there was no confusion about what we wanted. Hopefully that was fair to everybody. And then after was, they sent in on June the 30th, they sent in a preliminary so that Sarah and I, since we were on the committee, we went over it. There was a few things that got missed or we didn't really want, so we went over those in detail for each of the companies. Then I answered them individually, because I don't think one needs to know what the other one was doing, and anyway. And then I also went over it with Dana, because Dana and I had gone to several parks and looked at equipment and looked at different scenarios, larger, smaller, pour and play, turf, just a lot of things that we compared everything to and gave them feedback on that. And then asked them to come tonight and bring their best game and the best thing that they can do for us. Also, James told us that the Public Works would take care of demolition. Is there any way that we can use that bark around the trees? It's got stuff in it, darn. I wanted to protect the trees as much as possible.
Yeah, that is just a recycled MDF. We would just dispose of it. It wouldn't really be
Useful.
good for mulch, I don't think.
Okay.
It doesn't have any nutrients or anything. It's just really,
Well, I just wanted it as a barrier so they quit hitting them with the machines.
yeah. And then
But
we
anyway.
did, and like I said, if y'all would like, Public Works could handle the demolition of the playground as long as there's no other special requirements that we're not aware of. We've done this in the past to save money on the demo. We're really good at ripping things out of the ground and disposing of them. So we're okay with that. If there's any like drainage or, underground, we would prefer not to do that portion. If it's just removal of the existing stuff and that poses the cost savings, we're good with doing that internally.
So I let all of the vendors know about that, but also told them they would not be responsible for grading or anything else, but demolition and removal was basically what you're going to do.
So the component of it we don't want to be responsible for, which would include the grading portion of it. We can remove the existing fall material, the fiber or that MDF. We can remove all that. We can remove the poles and the concrete that's holding that in place and all the equipment. We can give it a blank slate, but if the surface requires some sort of drainage or things, that would not be something, we would want that to stay in the scope of whoever's putting the playground in.
Okay. So anyway, that freed up a little bit more money for us to use and them to use to put some additional things into the parks. So that's where we're standing right now. And we chose numbers, and I don't remember now who's going first.
Okay, so first is Sean Moran.
And thank you, all of you for sticking with us.
Yes, of course, of course. So I brought 5 just like last time. I see that was a mistake. Are you guys okay to share?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask a question real quick. Is the funding still coming from the HEDC?
Now, we have a fund that the city had put aside for
Thank
$500,000
you.
for a playground.
500? Like we
500.
talked about last month?
Right.
Perfect,
right.
thank
So
you.
that's what the bar that we set for them. If it's a little bit over, a little bit less, then we do have a little bit of funding that we can add to it, but not a lot. So we're trying to stick with the 500,000. And if you have questions, please ask.
Perfect. So real quickly, James, on the demo, so because we are going to be coming in, or whoever's going to be coming in with a compacted stone base and a turf system, you really want to cut those posts at the footing. Otherwise, you have like 50 spots for base failures. You can just fill them back in with concrete, but if it's already in there, you might as well just cut it off and make your life a little easier.
Okay, so if that mean, oh, and the date, it's on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Check.
I can't really hear him. Can y'all hear that?
I'm trying to speak up, sorry about that. But no, what we were discussing is during the demo portion, because you are going in with a compacted stone base and a turf system, you want to cut those footers off at the concrete. If you pull the concrete, you've created a bunch of weak spots where you're going to have base failures, and it's no bueno. So,
Okay. Yeah.
just a little something.
Yeah, that would be even less work, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's better for you guys anyways. A little easier to recycle it.
Yeah, whoever they pick with, we will get with prior to make sure we get whatever demo needs designed, and we'll get that taken care of.
And we do have any grading, any site prep, drainage, all worked into our pricing.
Okay.
So I'd like to start by saying, on the budget note, you will not see a price that exceeds $500,000 from us. Things go wrong in construction. We know they're going to go wrong. These things happen. You guys are not going to bear the weight of that. That will be on us. So just feel secure in that $500,000 number and no issues there. So again, my name is Sean Moran. I'm with Lee Park and Play. I've been doing playground construction for roughly 13, 14 years. I'm a territory manager now for Lee Park and Play. Personally, I've built well over 1,000 parks. As a company, we have built thousands and thousands of parks. Company's been in business for 52 years, and we don't plan on going anywhere. So that's kind of fun. If you don't mind clicking over, do I have no, that's okay. Okay, perfect. So yeah, like I said, again, a little bit about Lee Park and Play. So that's actually old now, but we're 52 years old. We do have a customer first mentality. This is construction. There are unknowns. Things happen. We've been doing this long enough to know that. We are always going to put you guys first. So we're going to make sure we view everything from y'all's shoes, make sure that we're doing right by you. Big part of that is just Travis and Emily Lee. Like they promote that, that style of business, and, they allow us to do that. I've been with companies, previously where it's very stickler and it doesn't go so hot. People get pretty upset. So much better over here. But as far as, pre and post installation customer service, it's what we do. We are heavy on service. We do carry a very high value portfolio to include Little Tex commercial playground equipment, USA Shade structures, and Shaw turf systems, which is a playground specific turf system made for high traffic, high pivot areas. We go to the next one. We're on now. Okay, so this is just a brief overview. I did give you guys some packets, so if you can't see much as far as layout is on there. So if you want to look through your packets and look at the individual layouts or have any questions, feel free to interrupt me and ask. But we have gone down to one tower since the previous design. So we've got the 26-foot tall trellis tower included. We also have our matrix web climber. That's 12-foot tall, and it does have a rope bridge that connects the tower to the unit. So that was a big ask on the last round. Don't know if that's a huge priority now, but it worked really well with the design, and it just kind of ties everything together. So we've got it in there. We've got our double rail rider. So that is not a tension system. That is a structural rail. Typically on tension systems, you've got a lot of maintenance. I don't think James wants to do it. You can call me, we'll do it together. But So it's a very rigid system. It does have an inclusive seat as well as a small rubber disc seat. As far as slides, you guys asked for curved slides, straight slides, tunnel slides, and we've got that all included. So you've got a curved tunnel slide coming off the trellis, a straight slide coming off the trellis, and then over off of the other side, you've also got another elbow slide coming off of the lower deck, and then a straight slide coming off of that 64-inch deck. We were able to fit in the spinners. So the request was to move away from the stand and spin, go back to something that's seated. So we've got 2 seated spinners and then 1 group spinner, which is the spin rocker. So that will accommodate more than 1 at one time. We do also have the team swing. That's something we have pulled out. Cindy, I appreciate you letting me know. We put that right back in there, thanks to James's help. Because without James, we don't get a team swing. So another big request was, to bring that inclusivity factor into this playground. I didn't know that we were going to be able to do it, but we got there. So you are fully inclusive as you move your way up to the playground. There is a set of stairs that goes off to that you've got sensory panels coming off of those rest decks. We'll get into the panels here in a second because I know there were some questions last time. And then we do also have a 20-foot by 20-foot integrated shade structure. If you see the 2 decks where the slide comes off, a little tough to see right now, that's where that is branching off of. So right over that straight slide, you've got a 20-foot by 20-foot shade structure built in there. Yes, sir. Thank you. So here's a little closer look at the layout, ramping in. So we were expanding out towards the trees, and it became a bit of a problem. We don't want to take out any trees. We really don't want to take out any trees. So this design does not include any removal of trees. If you see with that kind of at the top there where you've got the spinner and then you've got the small circle out to the right of that, that should light pole. So we can definitely I want it to look clean for you guys, but we can do a bump out in the curbs, position that spinner over to the side, and make sure you guys can keep your light pole in place as well. If that's something that you want to do.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
You can remove those if you put that in concrete to say what?
So yeah, we'll just do a little bump out in the concrete, and then so that spinner has got a circle around it. That's the fall zone. So we just need that light pole to be outside of the fall zone,
Oh, okay.
and then we've got light on the playground, which is pretty cool. This is a little better representation of that 20-foot by 20-foot shade as well. So you've got shade there right in the middle. And then you can clearly see, how you would ramp up. There's also an ADA transfer station. When looking at disabilities, it is a very, very wide spectrum. So we've got 2 different ADA access points on the main unit, and then the Trellix Tower also has an ADA transfer point as well. So we do also have the independent swing area that currently is right off the side of the basketball court. So we'll be renovating that for you. And then we also have the zip line and team swing area shown in the bottom right. Just a little better view of what we were looking at previously. Ready? All right. Okay, pretty pictures. Of course, everything is made to order. You can have whatever colors you want. I've only had it happen once, but they requested every pole a different color. And every pole went a certain place. Please don't do that. But it's doable. If that's something you guys want to get into, let me know.
Darker colors get hotter?
Typically, yes. If we've got a 110-degree day, it's going to be hot. Yeah, it's going to be hot. But usually we'll stay away from, the yellows that will show a lot of the yellows and the beiges that will show a lot of like shoe marks and scuffs and things like that. So your blues, your forest greens, your darker colors are going to hide that wear a lot better. But we're just going to flip through some pretty pictures, kind of give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. Very hard to tell scale off of these renderings, but this is a pretty substantial playground.
What about fading for colors? Do certain colors tend to fade more than in plastics? I mean, reds
Used to be
and
the case. They jam pack so many UV inhibitors into the plastics nowadays that sometimes it actually changes the colors. But no, you're not going to experience fading, and that is
Okay.
also covered in the warranty now as well. But it used to be, you get a pink, or you get a red slide, and you get a pink slide.
yeah, red would,
Yellow goes
greens and
white.
blues would last. Reds
Yes.
typically fade yellow as
Right.
well.
So yeah, luckily industry is past that. They've got a solution. And same goes with the shade fabrics. Those do not fade out anymore. All right, you ready? All right. A couple more renderings just showing the swing areas. So the top right, that swing area is within the main playground area with the 2 spinners out to the side. You know, in the bottom, we've got our double zip line as well as our team swing. And then the top right is showing that individual swing area that's right off the basketball court.
How long is the zip line?
The zip line total is 46 feet total use zone.
46?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to touch on some panels because I know the renderings are really tough. You can't, especially the panels, it's kind of tough to see them. So just wanted to kind of show you what all is included as far as like sensory panels, you know, socialization, tactile play. But we've got, the post player is a post-mounted, you know, small instrument like a bell that's inside the Trellix tower. There's 2 of those. We do have Alex's lemonade stand, which is really neat. So Alex's lemonade stand, the proceeds of that panel go towards fighting childhood cancer. So I try to get them in every design I can. It's a really, really awesome cause. So I want to make sure you guys had one as well. We've got a gear panel that is a reach panel. So you can actually roll right up to that if you were, you know, wheelchair bound. You can roll up underneath it. You know, if you're not, you can play with it just like a regular panel. We've got the shape sorting panel. So it's shown organized. That's the top left. It's shown all organized, but those individual shapes come out, and then you organize them by shape and color. We do have a braille panel as well. That is going to be the one with the clock. Couldn't get a great picture. On the other side, there's a braille alphabet. But pretty neat. I think that brings a lot of perspective to all kids. Simon Says panel, which is an interactive panel, you know, made for multiple kids to interact with at one time. We also have an alphabet panel that is traceable, a finger maze panel, as well as a precipitation panel.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to sound like the get off my lawn guy, but how durable are those sensory panels as far as being tore up?
Yeah, they're pretty durable. You know, anytime you have a moving part, you're going to be more apt to someone trying to destroy it. But that's really where I come into play as well. You know, that's the service side of things. If you need something, call me. I'll have it to you in 24 hours.
Thank you.
And you said the one with the letters there, you said it had removable letters?
It's not removable letters, no, sir. It's you can trace them. So the alphabet panel is the one in the center there. You can trace them with your finger and you know, go through the motion of drawing out the letter. The braille panel has a full alphabet on the back with the letter represented and then the braille underneath each letter.
But there again, you just feel it.
You just feel it. Right.
But those aren't removable.
Correct. No, they'd be gone first day.
Yeah, because you had said something about they come out.
Oh, yeah, so the top left. So if you can see the individual shapes within those, they have a bolt that goes into that groove where you can organize them and, you know, basically sort the shapes by shapes and colors.
But they don't actually come off of the
They do
board?
not come off the playground.
Okay.
No. And Chuck, to touch on your point as well, those items get red Loctite. 100% of the time. They get red Loctite. So most items are going to be blue Loctite items. Little spinners, fidget spinners. On the back of that lemonade stand, there's like 3 lemons. We red Loctite those very heavy. Not so fun when you're taking it off, but again, just call me.
Yeah, red Loctite is like almost has an adhesive. It takes heat to take it back off.
Right, you have to heat it up.
So you can't just, if you wanted to remove it later on, you would have to apply heat to it to get it to break down. Blue just keeps it from backing off unintentionally, but red makes it a little more permanent.
Yeah, it's pretty solid stuff.
When you say you can replace the parts in 24 hours, is that any part?
Not any part, but if
Just
you
the
guys
center
need,
panels.
you know, the bulk of maintenance parts, we've got a yard that is plumb full of those items.
Is it correct? Thank you.
You go to the next one? Oh,
Hey.
perfect. Okay, question time.
Yeah, I have a question about the
Yes.
tower. Can you explain to us how you get to the top of the tower to the slides?
Yes, so the 8-foot slide has it's like a conveyor belt material that is 100% ADA accessible. So you would traverse to that first slide through that, through that conveyor belt material. And then once you get up, it's a series of different nets. Now, we've got insane amount of rules on, how far something can pass through a net, how big the openings are, all these things. But then, from that point up, it is a series of nets that you climb. There are different nests and seating areas in there. There are also different play events on the walls inside that tower.
But they require all upper body strength.
Correct, correct.
And on the netting, can that be vandalized, cut, caught on fire? What's the
Anything can be caught on fire.
maintenance of that?
Anything can be caught on fire, I'll start that. But the netting is actually aircraft aluminum cable that is wrapped in rope. So we've got these, in my opinion, the roughest setting for a playground is either going to be a city park or a school playground, and we've got them in both. They hold up really well.
Okay, and what about the
One
maintenance?
moment, please,
How-
Dana. Sarah asks everyone to remember to turn on your microphones, otherwise she can't hear what you have to say.
Oh,
She didn't
okay.
name names.
All right, thanks. On the maintenance on that, what is that required? You have to go in and tighten up those nets every once in a while, or?
No tightening of the nets. The nets are a 10, 12-year product. So because they are, they are semi-flexible, they're about a 10 to 12-year product. So just kind of keep that in mind as you guys, take this into consideration. Typically, I'll try to go in with no moving parts, extremely rigid playgrounds. Some of the wish list items, we wanted to make sure that we were hitting those requests.
Sarah would like to know if there are more pictures of the slides and structures for us to see.
There are on that flash drive. I've got that flash drive loaded down with some 3D renderings, 2D layouts. We've got product data, and I can pull live pictures. I believe we've sent over quite a few live examples of the tower, but I can just resend that to you. Try to keep you organized in there.
How many kids can get up in that tower at one time?
Oh, just the tower?
The tower?
Oh, I'll have to double check on just the tower. I know the accommodations across the park are about 120, but I'll confirm with you on only the tower.
Okay.
It's quite a few, I guarantee you that, and they will pile in there. When you guys have a direct line to me, if something pops in your mind, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm always available.
Well, don't go away, because we think of something, we can call you back up.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
be right there.
all right. Thanks, Sean.
Well, thank you guys so very much. Oh, and I will say, the structure of the bid and the feedback, fantastic. Fantastic. That was super helpful, and nobody's shooting in the dark. We're all presenting similar items. Very cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mitch with Chop.
Chuck moved down one seat. Does he need to move his card? Chuck moved down one seat, so we're all together. Does he need to move his card?
Pull the card out of that one and stick it into that one. Or just swap the whole mic.
Yeah, it's a pretty good turnout. It's 20 minutes straight of fireworks. They put all the people in line. 20 minutes. That's a lot. That's a lot of fireworks. It's pretty good. test real quick. Can you hear me? Right? Okay. Just making sure. As long as the green's on? Okay, perfect. Make sure. Hey everybody, great to be back. My name is Mitch Daniels. I'm with Child's Play and BCI Burke. A little bit of history of Child's Play. We started in 1996. Founder Jay Robertson. We've been in the industry for about 20 plus years, and BCI Burke, our rep firm, or actually our big company, has been around for about 100 plus years or so. And Child's Play has handled a multitude of school districts like Louisville Independent School District, Northwest ISD, Prosper, and Mesquite ISD. Those are just a few that we've done this year and over the last couple of years since I've been around. So here's the top view of the design I came up with this for you guys. So just kind of a little layout of everything shown from the top view, make sure everything's in there. To start off hot, we're coming in with the zip line. So it's 75 feet long, so it's not a track rider, it's the actual zip line, goes up and down on it. So we do have a freedom seat in there as well, and then we do have a normal just kind of a zip line seat with a disc on the bottom of it, where kids can sit, stand, and kind of go crazy with it. To highlight a little bit of the zip line, we do have some transfer stations. So for the freedom seat right there, that looks like the big chair. That actually helps a lot of the ADA accessible kids in wheelchairs or some sort of crutches. They are able to remove themselves and actually sit in that chair by themselves. The rope Venture Sky 5, great feedback from Cindy actually. So we did have the Vertex in here and she came back with the Sky 5. So actually, James, thank you for doing the removal of the playground because we were able to put this in here. This is a very unique just piece of equipment that we have. It's big web climber, capacity at one time, 28 kids. The fall height on this is gonna be 7 feet and the highest that a kid can go is 13 feet 3 inches. So the central tower, I know towers in the first overall bid was 2, and then we kind of brought it back, and we do have 1 tower. I do say that one in the middle right there is some sort of a tower, but it's just not as high as the far right tower, which actually is going to be sitting at 16 feet up in the air. The overall height of the structure is going to be 24 feet 2 inches. And we did supply a hex shade on there as well. Moving on to the next, we have our slides and monkey bars. We were looking at it, kind of the different slides. Last time, the 360 loop slide, the one that you see on the far right there, that is our big ticket item for a lot of school districts, a lot of parks and communities, because it actually is first by itself. A kid can actually in a wheelchair remove themselves, climb all the way up to 8 feet, and then slide back down, and they also can get to other parts of the playground all by themselves with no handler, no mom and dad around. They can go out and be a kid. We do have an Aspire Cobra slide that's going to be coming off the big tar left tower. It's 16 feet slide. Unfortunately, we would like to go higher, but that was the highest we can get to is about 16 feet on slides. Definitely 360 loops, so that's the 96, so 8 feet on that. And then we did do the luge slide, which at 5, so it's kind of a double slide. So you and your friend can go down, race, and then actually it has a built-in transfer station to climb back up. So it kind of is a dual purpose. That's going to be that middle slide right there that has 2 slides coming down. And then for some of the monkey bar aspects, you can see some of them right here on the front of the structure. So that's going to be our horizontal ladder. So that's going to be your typical monkey bars overhead. And then we do have the array climber, which is that kind of half pizza looking shape right there. That is also like a web climber as well. We use those same ropes that we use with the web climbers. So it's all kind of threaded in there for continuous play for those kiddos. And then we do have a couple on the back, but we'll be able to get to those on a couple slides down. Just wanted to highlight session light on the 360 loop and how much I do love it. Kind of goes through and breaks down kind of everything of the universal design, combining transfer station, climbers, and slide into an inclusive play experience for those kiddos. And that kind of will show you exactly how 360 loop operates. she moved herself to I say that floor is lava is right there. So that's gonna be our panel that comes across, and then they can actually propel themselves up by themselves using the handbars. A lot of research has gone into that with BCI Burke for the right level for those kiddos, you know, where they're at and where it needs to be. So it does, there's a lot of research into that. Spinners. So we have 4 overall spinners. I know the last time the Veros were big hit. So it's more of a wobbler, I'd say. So it's going to be like kind of like a top, and it's going to be spinning like that. Actually, Scout and I, when they first came out, we were able to both get on it at the same time. We're not the smallest adults in the world, so we were both able to fit on that top one with the 2 kiddos up there. Cindy also came back with, instead of the RO spinning chair, the Nito spinner is very unique because it is almost it's a place for the kiddos to go and be themselves, kind of like their quiet space on the playground, and then it also spins as fast as they want to go. So that is a huge hit. A lot of schools and a lot of parks do go with that because it is kind of a, you know, time away from play. And then we do have the Comet 1 spinner in there. I've seen so many kids be on that. It's the same concept, spin around. We do have 2. It's either the Comet 1 or the Comet 2. The Comet 1 was a little bigger, you know, with the amount of kids that are going to be out here on this playground. We want to accommodate all of them. A little bit of highlight of the Vero again. Go to the next one. For the playground features, we have swings out there. So we have 4 bays. So 2 of them will be in the actual main playground area, and then 2 more will be right behind the basketball court. So we have 8 swings in total, 2 freedom seats. So just kind of what you saw on the zip line. It's that bucket style seat that comes across like going on the Batman ride at Six Flags. Same concept. Put it on. We have that one in the main area, and then we do have another one over by the basketball. And then we do have the remaining 6 belt seats that are, you know, those typical normal swing seats that you see. So Shawgrass, we use Shawgrass as well. We just think it's the best in the game. We do all of our parks in Shawgrass. So if Child's Play has touched it, it's most likely going to be Shawgrass out there. You guys can actually see in your booklets, I did supply all the warranties and down to the nitty-gritty stuff of everything. But 10-year limited warranty through the manufacturer. That wouldn't be through Child's Play. That would be actually through Shawgrass itself that's getting that warranty. And then Child's Play, we do have an expert who has been trained to put down the Shawgrass and has all the credentials that needed. So he does all of our playgrounds right now. He does a great job. So then overall, Child's Play proposed structure has over 30 plus ADA events throughout our entire park. So we have 37 overhead play events. We have 20 elevated play events. We have 10 transfer events. We have 20 play events for ground level. And then we do have 10 ground event types. So it's a little bit different than just the ground play events. It's a little bit different. So it's going to be things that kids can see, like the sensory station or something along with the panels as well. So that goes in that. So highlights in the park, the Serenity Spot primary on deck with the 360 loop. It's very unique. You guys will actually see a picture of what inside of our structure looks like on the next slide. And so it's kind of like that Nito spinner that we have, but yet now it's up on a 8-foot deck, and that's part of the open tower. It's not really a tower, but it is that shorter tower. So the kids will actually be able to come up, hang out up there, you know, hang around, and that's kind of what it's built for. We have 5 play panels. Hide the numbers, 2-sided play panel, the B panel. We also do have a braille panel and then a 3-in-a-row panel above platform. And then we do have a custom Haslet logo right on the main structure by the 360 loop, so everybody knows where they're at. They're at Haslet Park. And then to the back side, we'll be able to pull up pictures, more of kind of the monkey bar aspects. Go back one. The climb cross, Netlinks climber, evolution deck to roof climber, Aspire rope tunnel. So we did incorporate the rope tunnel back into this because I know it was a good hit last time. We can definitely remove that if that's something you guys deem worthy to remove. The Lenovo balance beam, so a little bit of, you know, coordination skill out there, you know, play, but also learning. And then we do have a sensory rail that right as you come in, it's a ramp, so kiddos in a wheelchair can get onto the bottom part of the playground, and that's kind of where all of those main
panels are gonna be, so the Braille panel, the B panel, but all of these panels are interchangeable with anything we have in our catalogs. So we have a whole bunch, but we just kind of went with these because these were, you know, right where we needed to be with price and then everything else. So here's kind of the inside. So on the left, that's gonna be your primary spot that I was talking about up there. So kiddos can hang out there, and then actually on the right side to the tower, that is how the kiddos get up to the tall towers. So they can climb up those little ropes and then they can get to the next level. And then we got a couple pictures through here just to kind of highlight everything so you guys can see it a little bit more up close. And then hold that right there. So on that backside, that's part of those monkey bars that that we were talking about on the last couple of slides. So we kind of have monkey bars on both sides of the structure, not just one. And then our ramp right there to the middle, that's where all of those panels are gonna be. So a lot of them are double-sided, so kids can either be on the platform and play with them, or they can be on the grass or the turf and actually still interact with those panels.
How long is the zip line?
75 feet. So then the about section, this is kind of just things that Cindy had sent to us, you know, that I wanted to kind of hit on. So right now, Burke is on about an 8 to 9 week lead time. That's just summer. That's our busy is summer, but that's not a bad lead time because a couple years ago it was pushing 13 to 15 weeks lead time from order. Installation time frame, we always ask, give us about 2 weeks. Our guys get in there and get after it and really try to bring it faster, but we do say about 2 weeks that we say. I did list in your guys' packet, I have a normal quote that is just everything normal, and then the other one will show the discount of what the structure I'm giving and also the basics that are on there as well. So you guys will be able to see those numbers. Additional costs that come up, solid rock. This is a pretty generic one. If we start digging and we hit rock, that could incur a cost just because it's solid rock. Out there, it's not just your normal rock. This is going to be your solid rock that you can't get through. Water, gas lines, whatever is there. What we do, we actually call in dig tests just to make sure on our end that we're not going to hit anything out there. So they'll actually give us a survey back. Hey, where is all the lines so we don't hit those lines? Or if we know they're in our way, we know to hand dig right there, not use the auger to really go down and actually create the hole for the posts. Grading the playground, you just say, it's not a lot of grading, we just have to make sure that it's gonna be ADA compliant, you know, flat around everything. We just wanna make sure that we're, you know, following the rules and the Texas state guidelines of ADA and all of the playground equipment. Drainage, there is no drainage in our quote right now because we didn't know exactly where some of the sewer lines would be, where we would tie them in. I would like to talk to you guys about that, kind of where we could figure out where we could tie other lines in, make sure there's no drainage in there. And freight could also change, you know, depending if we add or take away things. And then the supplemental warranties also in your guys' packet. That's something that I love. It's basically if anything on our playground gets broken, some sun faded, anything along those lines, you guys send it to me, I send it to Burke, they assess it, and within a week and a half, we get it back to us, and then we'll actually come out there and install it completely free. We will not charge you guys as long as that playground is in the ground. So, for example, if your guys' playground is around 20 years old, kind of where most playgrounds need to be rebuilt, we could potentially be out here 40 times. So we'll come out twice a year, absolutely free. You guys just gotta let us know. We'll come out there, set it up. We'll have a CPSI certified person come out and actually assess everything out. None out of pocket for you guys, all on us, part of our supplemental warranty with Child's Play. Some other ideas for Haslet Community Park. I know the rope venture was very big. I know Cindy had sent that to me. We couldn't fit it in there, unfortunately, but that is something I see everywhere at parks. So that's gonna be right down to the right. It's gonna be basically a climber that spins at the same time. We have The orb rocker, which is going to be your typical, you know, what's it called? Teeter-totter kind of thing, but 4 kids can be on it at once. The movement extreme, this is by far my favorite thing that we offer. It actually gets the kids, you know, motivated, play, and also, you know, they get to run around, and they will run around and be on it for hours. The Rev 8, which is going to be the bottom right, I guess, right there, and then the Rope Venture Epic is in the middle. So that is another big web climber that we do offer, and so that one, it actually is, I think it's around 20 feet tall, somewhere around there. It's a big, big tower. And then we do have a kid coaster, which is a track rider. I didn't think we should put that in there because I like a zip line a little more than the track rider. That's just me. But we do have the ability to switch those out if we have to.
When you say switch them out, are those items are the same, would be the same price as the ones that are already in your packet?
No, so the
No?
switching out, I meant to the zip line, to the track rider. We can back and forth that.
No, I mean these other items.
Those items, so I know the Rev 8 is right around the same as your guys' Sky 5. It's really close to around there. I would say the movement would be somewhere in that budget, maybe have to remove some sort of spinner or something different. The web climber is up there, but it's still pretty close to kind of the Rev 8 and then the Sky 5. And the orb rocker and then the track rider, you know, they're not too crazy expensive, but we can switch things out. And then with the discount, you know, they do level out.
So what you're saying is that we could take out the one that's in here and the one that you presented and put that one in there?
We can do that. We'd have to see where the price lands
Okay.
with the discount, because each product that we have gets assessed a different discount, just what the manufacturer gives us. So structure and then freestanding is kind of different how they do, like adding it all up.
Right. But that's pretty much true of anything on the playground, right?
Right. There's a lot of stuff out there so that you can interchange, so.
Is your zip line a track or a cable?
Cable.
Cable.
And then some other extra ones, stem play, sensory panels. I know Cindy sent us that email about just kind of some stem play items. These are also very comparable to a lot of stuff you guys have out there, and we can put them out there. And I think they're really fun and interactive for the younger kiddos that maybe don't want to get up to the tower and 16 feet. And then this is just our Burke Generations warranty. So this is what we offer on any playground that we put into the ground. 100-year post-warranty, 100-year hardware, 100-year bolt-through system, 15-year on structured platforms, decks, metal roofs, railing, barriers, 15 years on all plastic components, 5 years on the rope venture cables. So that's going to be that climbing up on the side, kind of that crescent moon with those ropes in there, but also on your Sky 5, it's going to be the same thing for 5 years. And then I included that also in the back of your guys' packets as well, so you can see more of all of the warranties, kind of the whole package. Let me go back to one. And then any questions from you guys?
As I'm going to talk about your towers again, just because that's where a lot of times probably going to be spent. And I've been doing some reading as far as graffiti on your tower. What do y'all have in place if, you know, say somebody got up there and did graffiti?
Yeah, great question. So actually with every structure that comes with, we send you guys a kind of a kit. So it's going to be all the same paint. So James, you could go out there and it's the same paint, powder coat paint. You guys can do it yourself. Something like that. If it's really damaged, like on fire or something, someone tries to light it on fire, then that's when we get Burke involved, and then they will, you know, kick in some stuff, just a little bit of help. But we do have all of those sample kits, so all types of paint. They do have graffiti remover in there, but you know, it's kind of up to you how much is on there. You can either use that or just paint right over it.
Okay. And also, can you explain to me how the kids climb up inside the tower? What? Is there a ramp? Is it all netting? Is it a combo?
Oh, go back. Go back. Right there. Keep going. So kind of on the main, so that's going to be that back side, so that in person, so it's going to have those ropes in there, so they are able to get up to that second deck, and then they can go across through the rope tunnel across. So that's going to be your main way up there to those top towers, but then everything on the bottom, you can either go up the 360 loop climber, you can go up the luge slide, and then the other climbers that are around. So it's kind of like continuous play. So it all leads back into the middle. So anything out there, it's going to find its way back into the main part of the actual structure.
But the only way that they can get up to the second tower is climbing the ropes?
Yes, ma'am. So they have to go through the rope tunnel to get to that top tower.
Okay. But there's a ramp going from the ground level to the actual tower, right?
Yeah, so right there, that is our ramp that's right here. So that leads into that bottom section. And then if the kiddos that are in the wheelchairs do want to get to the top, then they can remove themselves and then go up through the 360 loop.
Okay.
I have two questions if I can. One was to clarify what she had asked. So I think I've asked this previously, but typically a warranty covers manufacturer defect, not any kind of damage or neglect or abuse. So in the event, to her point, if something was vandalized, broken intentionally, or damaged, and it cannot be painted to fix, that does come at the cost of the city to replace. Does the installation still get covered, or is the installation ours do as well? So they would have to purchase the replacement panel, but it could be installed for no additional cost, or?
Yep, part of that supplemental, where if we're already out there 2 times, going out there a 3rd time to actually put on that piece, not a problem.
Okay.
So yeah, it's usually if something's on fire or something like that, then Burke will kind of step in.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you understand. I think that's very typical. I've never seen a company that you would go broke trying to cover if things are damaged from vandalism. That's something that no manufacturer could really warranty against. I just want to make sure I think that was a question you were asking, is if they come out and damage, or they damage the logo piece in the front, I mean, that would be at our cost to replace. And then the second question I had is, I know you mentioned discount, but I didn't see if it said specifically, is the pricing shown through a government contract? Is it buy board, Sourcewell? It is not. This is just a discounted.
Yep, so when we get to bid, so we kind of said the last time we bid, that was the initial bid, so we threw that buy board out the window, because that's a lot of times with school districts or other municipalities, but we already kind of got to that point, so, no, so the buy board fee is not in there, but that was just to be competitive, coming back and get you guys awesome playground, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and it should say in there, like on the freestanding stuff, I broke it down, like exactly what we did, and then on the structure, it actually shows you how much off that we're giving you from the list price.
Okay, and you were saying that would exceed what the typical contract buy board or one, or no?
With the buy board in it?
I would say, does your discount exceed the pricing for one of those contracts? Is it better pricing than one of those contracts would offer?
Oh, gotcha. Actually, if you go through buy board or something like that, it's actually worse pricing because we can't do as much, so we kind of remove it. So we have some special pricing involved with Burke that's going to be kicking back for you guys, so we're not spending an arm and a leg. We are, but you know what I mean? So it's not as much. So yeah, those cooperative contracts kind of get into nitty-gritty a little bit, and some of them are state sanctioned, so 7% is all you can do, so you can't really get past that, so that's why we kind of went around it.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
That's a great question, man. That's a great question, because there's a lot of times in which we'll go through like a full bid process, and then somehow it still needs to buy board cost is 2%.
I've got one question for him. Yeah, one more question. Is freight included anywhere on your budget?
Yeah, it should be the very almost like the last item. So it's about.
You see it? Freight, there's freight. Okay, yeah, I see it. Okay. Okay, no, good. No, you're good. Thank you.
Mister. I got a mister.
Don't read into that.
You good? Awesome. Well, like these guys said, I mean, it's a pleasure to be back. I mean, I've been to Haslet twice now, since I moved to Dallas in 2010. What's that?
Aren't you special?
No, but thank you for having us come back out and have the opportunity to look at the community park again. Just before we get started, I'll talk a little bit about landscape structures. We're the rep group for landscape structures is redesign out of Plano. Landscape structures is in Delano, Minnesota. It is a 100% ESOP, which is 100% employee owned. They have not. Steve King, who is the owner of Landscape Structures, was a landscape architect by design. Started playground as a thesis in college and got a C- on it. And here he is today, showing his professors that he, one of those I'm going to prove you wrong type deals. So Landscape Structures has been in business since 1971, but like I said, 100% employee owned out of Delano, Minnesota. So just a little bit about Worlix Design and the difference that we think how we stand out. We do have world-class manufacturing out of Landscape Structures, superior material, fit and finish, unsurpassed tentative coating, super durable paint. We package it in freight. It's all done from Minnesota, all done by Landscape Structures, so we don't use third-party freight shipping. It's coming straight from Landscape Structures. Lead times, we're sitting at 7 weeks right now. I know during COVID it was a really long time, and I'm sure these guys can attest to that. But right now we're sitting at about 7 weeks as of today. Industry-leading warranty. We do have a 3-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, and then our reputation, it matters. So we're very very high on making sure that the customer is taken care of. A little bit about Worlix Design. This is our business development team. We are sitting at 8 business developers right now. We are throughout Texas, as far as Amarillo, and as far south as just north of Houston. We cover the San Antonio area down into Austin. So we've got a big territory to cover, and our 8 business development managers cover that. Our leadership team: Jason Edmondson, our president; David Paquette, VP of Operations; David Rushing is director of business development. Design. We have our own in-house design and estimating team that is 100% in the office. So we have the ability. I have the ability to walk down the hallway and get an answer right away. We have our own GC department, so we have our own project managers that handle all of our projects from ground up. So this is our group of 6 construction team members that we use on every project. This is just what we were asked to deliver as far as towers, neck climbers, swings, slides, just spinners, trying to make sure that we're hitting all the elements that we were asked to do. So starting with the Odyssey Tower, this was something that we kind of changed out. We had the Super Netflix in there, but when it came to trying to hit that budget, we had to make some changes. So we're down to this is our second tallest tower, which is the Odyssey Tower, and you can see the overlay here. I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. We did try to stay within the footprint and not have to expand borders, knock out concrete, knock out trees, the light post that's to the north of we tried to stay within that footprint. so that we were not having that extra cost when it came to turf, surfacing, concrete borders, site work, all that kind of stuff. So at the top, you can see the little squiggly line. That is our sensory wall, which can be interchanged with a bunch of different sensory panels, bongo drums, color wheels, marble panels, gear wheel panels. There's all kinds of stuff that we can switch out, and it is separate by itself. It's that kind of that sensory area where if kids get overstimulated, they can kind of go off and be with other kids that get overstimulated and not be in the hustle and bustle of that tower. So, and I've got extra pictures of it, and we can see the sensory benefits of that a little bit later in the presentation. The circle, that's our Omni spinner, and you'll see that later on. You'll see a host of people that are in that, tons of sensory benefits as far as interaction with other kids, being able to sit from the outside looking in, and it is accessible. It is low enough that where it's considered a transfer. There's a transfer there. Somebody that's in a wheelchair or some sort of mobility device, they're able to transfer into this Omni spinner. The big tower, the Odyssey Tower, just mentioned it. We do have 4 slides coming off that, 2 at the 12-foot height, and then a double swoosh slider at the 6-foot height. There is a transfer station that allows children to get to the 6-foot deck and able to use that 6-foot double swoosh slider. And then in the middle, you can see that is our zip cruise, which is 66 feet long. It is 100% enclosed track, so it's not exposed. The bolts are all hidden. Everything is inside the track, and we have. I'm not going to say 0 because that'll probably something will happen tomorrow, but we do have very little issues with this track record at all. There's no parts breaking down. In fact, there's one at Dream Park in Fort Worth that we have not had to touch since it was put in the ground. I want to say that one was in the ground 8 years. It was before I started with Whirlix, but that's the number one park that everybody wants to go see is Dream Park. So, and that track rider or that zip cruise is at Dream Park. And then in the south end by the basketball courts, we did expand the swing pits just because of the U zones that we used for the belt swings, and Cindy, that is where the flex swing would come in. That is again another inclusive swing that we use, and we actually have a junior play team that tests out all of our equipment. John is 14 years old, and he's the president of our junior team. I'll go with that. Our junior play team. That's what I was trying to. But John is wheelchair bound, and he does all our testing. He's the one that tested this swing and approved this swing. And I think everybody was calling it a hammock swing because yes, adults can get in it and actually lay in it when the kids are not taking it over. Zoom out. Uh-oh. So here's a view of the playground with the Odyssey Tower, the 4 slides, the sensory wall, the Omni spin, and you know what? I forgot to mention the lunar burst climber, the net climber in the background, which stands at 13.8. We'll see that here in just a second, or 12.8. Sorry, we'll see that here in just a second. But that's kind of the layout from the main pit, using the existing borders and then adding the turf. The backside of that Odyssey Tower with the transfer station at the bottom, some climbing walls, some rope climbers, allowing kids to get to that second level. And then you actually climb through the center to get to the next level. So the opening is in the center. Just another view of the site itself. Here's a zip cruise, 66 feet long. Each segment is 16 feet. So we have an ADA accessible seat, and then we have a regular disc seat as the second bay. Here's the flex swing with the belt, and then the belt swings. That flex swing does need its own bay, so we had to create just its own section in that swing area because of the use zone and because of the ability of that swing. We did have to create its own bay. All right, these slides are going to show you some sensory benefits to each piece of equipment that we have, and I'm not going to read each one of them. There's a host of sensory benefits in each one of these slides, so I'm not going to read each one, but some of the big ones: proprioception, vestibular, obviously visual, balance, agility, cardiovascular, as kids are running through the playground, running on the different climbers, getting to those slides. I think another big one for the kids would be the problem solving and strategic thinking, being able to make their way through the tower, figuring out a way, one to get up, one to get down, and then figuring out a different way the next time through it. The picture on the right, it just makes me smile every time I see this one. That little girl looks like she's having the best time of her life riding on that zip cruise. But again, going through these sensory benefits, social skill development, imaginative play, lower and upper body strength, trying to hold yourself on that zip cruise, and then of course it is ADA compliant with the ADA swing seat in there. Here's our flex swing. This is the one that everybody was excited about. We had it at a trade show, and yes, we had some adults that were literally standing on the top of it, swinging back and forth. Not that you probably want to hear that about the kids, but kids are going to find a way to play, right? And so there's different opportunities in this swing for kids you can lay on it, swing on it, you can just chill. I mean, it becomes again, sensory overload, somewhere where you can just chill out and lay down and just kind of collect your thoughts again. Here's that picture of that Omni spinner it's packed with people, right? So people are sitting on the edges, people are sitting on the seats. It's not your old school merry-go-round where you can just stand and spin. There is a governor on it, so nobody's gonna get thrown off like we did at old school. But we survived. I mean, some of us, I think, maybe had some more damage than others, but we all survived. But this is another one of those. It's ADA compliant, so you can transfer into the Omni spinner. Again, social skill development. You're sitting across from somebody. You're almost forced to talk to them, right? You're developing those skills as you're playing on this playground. Here's a picture of the sensory the play center wall. These are interchangeable. I mean, on here we have the xylophone, we have the gear panel, we have the bongo drums, but we can also put the color wheel. There's gear panels. There's different pieces that we can trade out for that would go in this sensory wall. There's a marble panel, so there's lots of options that we can swap out on this sensory wall. Here's the Lunar Burst neck climber. Again, this one is great for balance, great for climbing, problem solving, social skills, proprioception, visual, trying to figure out which way they're going to go up the climber. And you can see there's little seats in there as well for those kids that get to the top and need a rest. There's places for them to stop and just take in what they've just accomplished. So this is an overview of the Lunar Burst. Actual height's 12.5, fall height is 72 inches. That cabling is polyester wrapped, steel reinforced climbing cables available, and we have it in three colors: red, black, and tan. It is abrasion resistant, color stable, durable, and vandal resistant. Now, if somebody's walking around with bolt cutters and some sort of chain cutting device, yeah, it can be damaged. But as far as kids and vandalism, it's vandal resistant. And then if a piece does need to be replaced, the cable, we're able to pull that section out and put that new section in. So it's not, we don't have to replace the whole thing, we can replace sections of it. Turf solutions, we use X-Grass Prime. It is IPMA rated. It is our #1 grass turf that we use on playgrounds. It's playground rated, and it's this is the #1 grass turf that we use. Synthetic Grass Pros is the provider, and their warranty is 8-year product warranty and 2-year installation warranty, and that does include seams, tears, outside of vandalism, obviously. Like I said, it's IPMA rated. Whirlix limited 1-year workmanship warranty. Just saying we're going to do the work. We're going to do what we say we're going to do. This was just an example that we threw in there that we had. It was for a school. We literally had 67 days to get it done, and we, from time of order, demo, install, we were done in substantial completion in 67 days. Our GC team in-house, we're able to control when the job is done, when the job gets started. Everybody's in-house at the office, so we are working together every single day in the office. Like I said, we have a three-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. We do have extended warranties, 100-year warranty on our play booster, play shooter, aluminum poles, stainless steel fasteners, clamps, stuff like that. So that's a 100-year warranty. So that is covered, and we will make sure that that's taken care of for you. The one we do talk about the 5-year limited warranty on the cables, materials, manufacturing. That's all part of that the net climber. And I ran through that really fast. But if any questions that I can help answer that haven't already been asked from the other guys.
Can you go back to the picture of the actual playground so we can just look at it a little bit more?
Miss Cindy, which one do you want to see the overall?
One side or the other, it doesn't have to be overall. Or do you have one that's like from the top? That's good.
How about that one?
Yeah, that's good.
On your zip line, your rail, if that were to break, how long does it take for it to get repaired?
I mean, we're inside the 2-week turnaround time when we are getting parts from Minnesota. So once that happens, but warranty turnaround time is usually 2 weeks.
As I know,
we have an inside sales that only handles any sort of warranty. Or if you're doing like a single, you need a bobble rider, you need a single spinner. We have inside sales team that takes.
Does this have a weight limit? I mean, is there a thing like,
I've been in it. I mean, I'm 200 pounds. I've been in it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I've ever been asked that question, but we're encouraged when we go to playgrounds to try all of the equipment. So I can tell you that has had the Zip Cruise does hold an adult.
mm-hmm.
But the ADA is only accessible to that first floor, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and they would have to transfer out on that picture right there, transfer up to that step, that transfer deck, and then make their way to that first level. And then the slide that would be that double swoosh coming off that 6-foot tower, or the 6-foot deck.
Okay, in this, there's just one swing set at the end of the basketball goal?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Trying to stick within the footprint of the original borders.
Mm-hmm.
We did have one in the playground, and then when the net climbers, it takes up such a big area, we ran out of with the USOLs, we ran out of space trying to get extra swings in. that, I think I was back this way. So this here, you can see how tight that space is. Just using those borders that are currently there. So those use zones we can't overlap them. So they're close to touching, but.
Any more questions, Danny? Okay, I think that does it.
Awesome, thank you.
What's your last name?
Gage Scribner. Do I need to press a button on this dongle? Plugged in as well?
No, not that one. Just, you exit out here, if it's the first time, sometimes you'll have to go into there as the disk drive, so, just right there,
Right here?
next to it, the little folder. And then it should load up further down below this PC, right there. So click there, click on the one that says for Windows, right there. Nope, not that one. There's another one somewhere. The one underneath it says application, yes. And it should pop up momentarily. Usually that'll be solid when it's there, go. And that shares the entire screen.
Excellent. Thanks, sir. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I appreciate the opportunity to come and present our proposal for the Haslet Community Park. Anytime we get to be involved with a community like this and a project like this, we just have a ton of fun doing it. So thank you. So the 2D overhead shot of our design, we've expanded the original play space here. The goal, or how it's been proposed, is to eliminate the 6-inch borders that are currently present at the playground and use this sidewalk here as our right boundary. We'll add curbing that's going to be flush with this sidewalk here, utilize this sidewalk, and then come back across here with more curbing as well. And we also eliminated this sidewalk here to incorporate that as some more play space. Our zip line area and then our swings on the other side of the shelter will also be curbed as well. And those are going to be same height as the concrete as well. So it'll be super easy to, roll a wheelchair onto that or just enter and exit the playground. We won't be tripped up by the current 9-inch above ground curb that's out there right now. Like Kenny, I too found that the current border was just a bit too small to fit a 2-bay swing set in. So we are going to have to bust that out and add a new one as well. So quick 2D here, one thing I'd like to highlight is the ground level quantity. We've got almost 24 ground level activities. Only 11 of the play activities are accessible or elevated play activities. So the majority of the play elements will be accessible by most kids that will be utilizing this playground. So our design features a main tower that peaks out at 24 feet. 2 mega tube slides coming off of that. Those are the biggest tube slides that we offer. To get to that second tower, we got a 1-foot transfer station. Find another angle that we can maybe see a little bit better for you. Got a 1-foot transfer station right here.
with 6-inch steps. So mobility limited kids will be able to make it all the way to all the play elements on this first level. However, that second level is going to be accessible by a climbed ladder. Got our monkey bars as well coming off of our steps here. Down this way we've got a cyclocone. This acts as both a spinner and a climber as well. It is at a height where our mobility handicapped friends can wheel right on up to it and would be able to transfer themselves on there as well. And they can sit within this net here. It's a great opportunity for them to interact with the other kids. The other kids love coming up and just spinning them around and having a blast. On this back side here, we've also got a mogul slide coming off of this 5-foot deck here, and then a chameleon slide coming off here. So 4 total slides coming off of the structure. Climbers all around. We've got our twisted ladder here. We've got a net climber popping off here. And then around this right side, we get into the more standalone climbing activities as well. Also littered throughout, you're going to see several of these little, these are called our funisher. Essentially that serves triple purpose. That's a place where if a kid gets overwhelmed, perhaps they've got some kind of sensory overload, they can come to one of these benches. It's got plenty of sensory activities built in on each side here. They can sit in it too. They can sit underneath it, hang out with friends. They're great pieces. We've got our hex quest worked in here. This hex quest, it's modular, so we can adjust how those hexagons sit in relationship to each other to make some really cool designs as well. But those are big enough for kids to crawl in them, on them, through them, you name it. Just an absolute blast. We featured one of these at the past few trade shows that we've done, and it's just a beautiful piece, and it's a lot of fun to play on, even as an adult, I do have to say so. And then the standalone climbing structure that we've got here is going to be our physics moon. That is accessible from ground level, and also on the inside we've got several jacks climbers where you can climb through it, climb up the middle, climb down one side or the other. We got some suspended rings that can be climbed through. You can also just wheel right up on in here and hang out in a secluded fort with your friends. It's accessible from all 4 sides, and it peaks out around 9.5, 10 feet there at the top. The swing sets we included are 2 bay swings with a generation swing as well as an ADA seat and a bay that's got 2 belts. Both of our swing sets in the proposal include integrated shading as well. And then our zip line. On this proposal, I've included this 2-bay Alta-Glide. This one's going to be 46 feet, Miss Cindy. I wasn't quite able to get to the 60-foot. The ass is 46 was the closest I could get. I do apologize. But we've got an ADA seat on one side and a disc swing on the other side. Closer up view there. And I did go ahead and include a copy of our proposal on here. I've maxed out the discount as much as I can, and I can forward these copies to you as well after the meeting. But we were able to do that with all of that within budget, including the site expansion. It's about 9,300 square feet of turf, including concrete, including the turf, including installation. We're still able to come in under budget, right at $496, able to cram in a ton of play value into the park. An alternate proposal for climbers would be this physics phase. Takes up a similar footprint and actually adds an additional slide to the play area, and it's also got just a ton of play elements included on it as well. There's a climbing bridge you can go over underneath. You can climb up it, through it, on it, around it, over it, in it. Just an absolute blast. And you substitute the new moon with the phase, that brings us even further below budget, down to 481. So, and at that time, that will be the end of my proposal. I'd like to open the floor to any questions that you guys might have.
of the playground,
Yes, ma'am.
so we can look at that while we're,
You got it. It's pretty
that's good,
right there.
yeah.
Our posts do carry a lifetime warranty as well. Plastics, we're gonna have a 15-year warranty. That's if they fade, they crack. That's gonna be replaced at no cost to you. The installation labor will be a cost, but we help out as much as we can there as well. The equipment will be completely free, lifetime warranty on hardware as well. And the cables and ropes, much like my constituents, are gonna have a 5-year warranty on them.
Way back on, in the corner over there, are those sensory panels?
Yes, ma'am, they are. So each one of those has got texture. So it's got some good sensory play there, or stimulation. Also, when you look through it, you can see the world in whatever color you're looking through. I think I've got a picture closer here. So, for example, they look through this one, they're going to get some visual stimulation. See the world in green. Look up here, see the world in purple. And we can swap these with any and all of our sensory panels that we have as well.
Could you tell me again how tall your net climber is?
Yes, ma'am. It's about 9.5, 10 foot tall.
Okay.
Can you go back to the big picture? I have a question. The little triangle things over there, what were those? The double ones. Go up there. Up.
This?
Nope. To the left. To the left. Right there.
Okay, great question. So this proposal I just shared with you includes the 46-foot 46-foot Alta-glides. I did put together an additional proposal that included some alternates, which are 20-meter-long mantises. However, we would need to do some really significant gerrymandering to the rest of the equipment. We could make that work, but I didn't want to offend you coming in way over budget. If we swap some things out on the main area, we could definitely, just for a size comparison here, that's compared to the double Alta-glide that I just presented to you. It's 20 meters compared to the 46 feet of the Alta-glide. And additionally, we would be unable to put an ADA seat on this mantis. Now, you could do one mantis and one Alta-glide. That could work. So you'd have the ADA seat on the Alta-glide. But yes, ma'am, that right there is what those are, the mantis. The footers on those things are like refrigerators.
Yeah, like 5 arms.
Yes, they're ridiculous.
They're crazy.
And do you have a picture of the basketball swings?
Yes, ma'am. So they'll be extremely similar, or the exact same as, oh, there's a better picture of them from, got the integrated shade over the top, and then 88 generation seat. Yes, ma'am. So this layout was just to show those. That's not exactly how it's going to look in the layout on the 2D. So the zip line is going to be where that horseshoe pit is now. I just included it next to the zip line here so that we could see them. Yes, ma'am.
It will have shade?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Got integrated shading built into both swing sets, and then our main tower has some shading built into it as well.
Did you say you could or could not put the ADA chair on the longer zip line?
On
The
our mantis?
cable? Yeah, on the mantis?
No, ma'am.
You cannot, okay.
And the colors that are shown here, I mean, are those changeable, or is it this plate? I mean, like, can you pick colors of poles and canopies, or is this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all that's customizable to.
Yes, sir.
And then Miracle is, I believe, is the current manufacturer of what's out there. Is that correct, or do you know offhand? I believe they
yes,
are. I'm just.
that is one of ours. I believe it's about 16 or 17 years old, and we also did the park over at Gamble as well. Yes, sir.
The second time as well.
Yes, the first time. Yes, ma'am. The forest green one, the green brown one is up there.
And I believe the one at Mansfield also. Yeah, the newest swings and stuff, that was KOMPAN, and then the existing swings, those I believe are unbranded. They were donated from another place. So.
On the twister with the netting, how tall is that?
The cycle cone,
Yes,
that's going to peak at about 7 to 8 feet. No,
7.
more than 8 feet.
Okay.
We also have another spinner. I was kind of on the fence between the two. I chose this one because it also doubled as a climber, but we've got another one as well called a 10 spin. Seats just about 8 to 10 kids. But it's a ground level spinner, also accessible for ADA access as well. So it could also be another option there. Thank you for your time. Thank you, ma'am. Get it out of my possession as soon as I can.
I feel like I've seen y'all recently at ASLA. I don't know, maybe. I think so. Maybe no. Okay. Well, maybe not so recently. I feel like I've got some familiar faces. Oh, awesome. Okay. And do I have to press anything? No, ma'am. No, I'm good to go? Okay. Thank you. I was a few minutes late fighting for my life on the traffic in Fort Worth coming from Cleburne. But I got to hear all of my very esteemed colleagues here share beautiful presentations. And so happy to be able to contribute to the offering today. So I'll just jump right into it. A list of what we're going to run through today. I know it's late already. So we really, why is this not? Oh. It won't advance. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. You are? Oh, all right, no worries.
If you'll click there, will you switch it to click share? Yeah, I thought when you plugged in, he must have had it up there. If you'll switch her to click share, and if you'll click right there.
Okay.
He must have had your presentation to show.
He did.
Yeah, just click on that little window right there, and then it'll show whatever's on your screen.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Thanks, team. No, I still can't. Do I have to do anything differently because my pointer is not going to work here now?
Well, if you're connected to what you're using to advance, it's not working anymore.
Okay. That's not working. This doesn't have to, I don't have to press this at all?
No, I mean, so if you were using this, that should work the same way.
It's not now.
That I do not know. If you press the big button, it'll stop displaying.
You know what? It's fine. I'll just do it manually. I was trying to be all fancy. That's okay. Oh, there we go. See? Okay. Oh, apologies, guys. It's been a long day. Thank you very much for having me back. I recall meeting most of you when we were looking over the Gamble Swing Bay, so it's very nice to be back. In terms of our design and how we approached Haslet Community Park was to, of course, stay very close to the existing footprint in the effort to maximize our budget with the equipment that we were wanting to propose. So that meant that we truly stuck to the existing curbing in both the large playground and the existing curbing in the basketball swing set court as well. We did improvise and create a 2D site plan placement for the zip line. That is strictly just part of our design and can be it can be expanded on, or it can be made shorter as well. I did share with Miss Cindy a eval and checklist for accessibility, just if you wanted to dig into that. Of course, ADA is law, of course, but we always want to exceed that 100% and add as much ground level activity that is not just ADA, but accessible for all abilities and including any sort of sensory play, and certainly accommodating anybody within the spectrum in any way. I do have the full checklist to share with you if you'd like to see it. So playground from just a bird's eye view, we really focused on the tower. That really was the intent, to give the greatest amount of wow factor and large play value to the actual space without having to build out any more beyond the containment that's there. So we'd use primarily most of the existing footprint to put in a very large, very well-designed and high play level activity center. And it is sensory based, which is the focus for most of what we're showing here. We've included some play panels, of course. One is a communication board, which we are seeing more and more put into communities. It just helps children verbalize, or who are unable to verbalize, and point in a way to share their emotion, their excitement, their feelings in general. So it's a really great tool for all abilities, and just lends itself to just another level of communication within the play space. We included some sensory pieces that are like the play panel. Create is really truly about object impermanence and manipulatives, and just engaging and moving things around and using the ability to create change on the actual play panel. Children walk up to a play panel, they want to be able to walk away from it with it being different. And I know that sounds kind of odd as adults, but they like to leave their mark on things. So they can walk up to something, they can manipulate it, they can change it, change the pattern, change the way things are done, and walk away and say, that was me, that was my work. And that is empowering, and definitely just lends itself to their development. We do include sensory panels as well. And all of these things I can send product detail sheets, and I will, in a zip file. We kind of came late to the party with making some changes after Miss Cindy's feedback, so I wanted to make sure that I had my presentation buttoned up before. But we'll send some product detail sheets so that you can get a deeper dive into these. We did include the rope hammock. Again, it is a very inclusive piece. It's transferable, but it doesn't necessarily lends itself to having an ADA stamp on it, but it is a very inclusive piece. We went with standard seat belts for this particular swing bay. I wanted to show that we could put 4 swings in here. Those are interchangeable. Our initial design, we had a bird's nest swing in there. Got the feedback, we wanted to move that out, so went with 4 standard seat belts for this particular swing bay. Again, they're very over-engineered. They do not collapse. Children of all abilities, people of all sizes and ages can sit on these swing belts, and they are going to be sustaining the entire weight and capacity of that individual. We have included some spinning activities. Again, spinner bowls are interchangeable. I don't know if Miss Sarah, who's here listening right now, loves them so much, but we can always switch those out for something that is a little bit more in line with the vision ultimately. But including spinning is really important. It rates on a scale of 1 to 10 around 7 as far as activity on a playground, and gets the most joy, or tends to have the most time spent on a piece of equipment. All right, so I've covered, and just stop me at any time, of course. Okay, it's a delay. All right, so this is our big guy. This is our sensory giant. And what I really love about this particular piece of equipment is that all of the netting and the climbing structures, because we don't have a rope climber, we didn't include our space net in this because the footprint is fairly restrictive in that regard. So we have all of this really wonderful webbing and netting underneath the structure, which is transferable. There's ways to access and smaller little seats that we can transfer onto, and children can climb through there. And so it does provide still the element of climbing and rope climb, and it is a sense of graduated play. Not every child has or wants to approach a large structure like this and immediately go up to the top. Abilities are regarded. They want to have maybe a more graduated sense, and so they're going to start at a lower level and work their way up. So it's nice to be able to have unprescribed play, which is, we don't necessarily know how to work this rope structure. We're going to play it however and approach it however we want. So there is some of that underlying rope netting underneath there. The transfer platforms, and I'll see if you can see here, provide access to the structure itself, and all of the panel or the steps and the accessible steps and platforms throughout the structure, getting onto that first level with those first two slides and then up to the second level, are all accessible, and meaning that you can't, a child who's using a mobility device, braces, they have walkers, not necessarily wheelchairs, but if they're using braces, they can mobilize themselves up there. It does not, there is no access for a wheelchair, and that is unfortunately just due to the size of the structure itself, but also the footprint of the playground. So we really wanted to make it as accessible as possible, knowing that we couldn't have the ramp structure there. There are some diachronic panels, polycarbonate panels throughout, ground level play, and you can see some musical instruments and some other panels that are built into the structure as well, while we have placed the other sensory panels throughout the playground, providing different opportunities for children to break away from that overall very high stimulating environment, come away from that, have some interaction, accessible from all sides of course, and then reintegrate back into the play space. Another view of all of the ropes and sort of the transfer platforms that you can see that are built into the under netting of the structure itself. The structure is 21 feet tall and 36 users. Of course, it's 5 through 12, and it takes a huge footprint in the playground, but it is super fun. And I don't know, there's metal grids that provide airflow throughout. I know that was one of your concerns, Miss Cindy, that you were looking for visibility. The polycarbonate panels do provide that throughout, and there is open spaces up to a certain place, and then it has to be enclosed, of course, for fear of for preventing fall. The swing bay that we did choose to, as we said, we kept the containment. I mean, if we have the hi-fi all the way around the room to expand that, we will, and add more. But in the interest of just doing what we were asked to do in that moment, we kept with the 2-bay, and we used a universal swing. The wonderful thing about this particular swing, and it's just, it's near and dear to KOMPAN, the goal to be truly accessible and independent runs through our DNA. So this seat itself is engineered so that if a child is transferred into it, their caretaker can step away, and if the individual using the seat has upper body mobility, meaning they can actually move their forearms or their arms or their hands, they can use the chains, which are in the front, and it will propel the seat forward. So it gives the opportunity for some autonomy, a feeling of being in charge of what they're doing, and it also provides a moment of respite for a caregiver to step and perhaps be on the next seat adjacent to it. If it was really desirable to have this sort of a combination but expanded, absolutely I'm happy to look at moving outside of that containment and including a couple other seat belts or other swing options there as well. But this is where we landed. All right, just the upside down visual there. Okay, and this is our zip line. It's a monster. We love it. It's 107 feet long. It is truly thrilling. It is accessible in that there is a ramp up to it. It just is one pendulum swing though. It is a very over-engineered, and I know all these gentlemen can attest to what it means to put one of these in the ground, the amount of concrete that's required to install something of this nature. particularly at this length, to withstand the, the amount of pull on it. But it is a flat ground zip line, which means at one end, the posts on one end are longer than the others to create the precise amount of grade that's needed, and the other end is just a little bit lower. You can install these into berms, but that sort of becomes another construction project. So this is a great way to get that thrill. Just, yeah, it's an awesome piece. And they are everything, much like I've heard the other folks say, that all of the equipment is built and designed to scale of an adult. It doesn't assume that you're going to pile 3 guys onto this zip line and it's going to be able to manage that over and over and over again without wear and tear. But all of our equipment, all 5 through 12 equipment, playground, our equipment particularly, is designed for scale. So this could be expanded into a double zip line if that was desired, assuming, of course, we would have to get really close to that sidewalk and probably move up a little bit, move a bit northwest, it looks like. But if there was the desire to have this at the same length as a double zip line, that's totally possible as well. Just saying. All right, just a bird's eye view. And if you would like to see one of these zip lines in action, you can go to Hoya Park in Farmers Branch, Texas, and see one of these in action. They're a lot of fun, I have to say.
Is the one in Farmers Branch 100,
That's KOMPAN.
107 feet long?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's fun, I'm just saying. So we're pretty transparent about our pricing, just because that's how we roll. Our playground equipment, we manufacture everything. We are a turnkey solution provider. So we manufacture our equipment. We have a design team, architectural design team that are CPSI certified. They are architects, and this is what they do for a living, is design playground equipment. And I'm just here to talk to you about it and share our vision. But we are turnkey, which means that we, as I said, we manufacture, we install. We have certified KOMPAN playground installers. We have project management teams that oversee everything that we do. We've included a synthetic turf. All of what you've heard today, whether it's Simlawn or X-Grass, Forever Lawn we use, there's multiple manufacturers that provide safety, unitary surfacing. It's all IPMA certified, which just means that it's safe for it to be out in the environment. It's not going to be in a playground. It's not going to emit noxious gases or anything poisonous for you. But there's a good, better, best to everything. And so we just fell in line with what would probably be, similar to an X-Grass or, again, a product that Forever Lawn would use. If you have a preferred turf vendor, we're happy to work with one of those. We do prefer Forever Lawn. We think the result at the end of the day is just, it's a fantastic install. And they are, again, just their warranty is amazing. I did include drainage materials and installation. We typically like to oversee that ourselves alongside the Parks and Recs operations team, but I will leave that up to Mr. James to make that decision and that call. If we did do that, we typically use a linear drainage system, a PVC, that is installed underneath the turf, of course. So all of that to say, freight, we've boosted that number because I just don't know yet until we decide what we want to do. So better safe than sorry to include that in as a hefty line item, and it will be some fluctuation there, I'm sure. We will honor a 10% discount that exceeds Omnia, it exceeds Texas Buy Board and Sourcewell. So happy to work with you on those again. It's just at the end of the day, all of us playground manufacturers make really great stuff. You have a tough job ahead of you to decide. The luge, who did the luge? The luge, Sly, that's amazing. Sorry, not that I'm trying to sell away my project or anything, but I love that so much. That's really cool. So we just, KOMPAN has been in business since 1970. We are a Danish company. We were founded by an artist and sculptor who designed sculptures to be placed in front of different housing units that all look the same in the community housing of Odense, where he lives. And so When he went out to inspect these sculptures rather, he discovered that children were playing on them. And so from there, KOMPAN was essentially formed. It just went from there, and our stuff is so different from others. It's very artistic looking, but the quality is fantastic. We have unlimited warranty on installation, lifetime warranty on all steel parts, and it's usually 15-year warranty from that going down the line. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yes, do y'all come out and do inspections during the year?
CPSI inspection?
Yes.
We can absolutely. If you would like to organize that, we can organize a third-party CPSI inspection. We do not certify our own playgrounds because it's a little bit of a conflict of interest. We have a third-party inspector come in and verify that what we've done complies with everything.
And that's not included in your warranty? Or it's not included in this price for inspections, or is it?
It can be. I didn't include it in the line item. It's not a hefty price. It's usually anywhere between $1,500 to $300 or $3,000, depending on the individuals that we use. We have a couple of people that we like to bring in, but I can absolutely include that.
Okay, and another question on your zip line. Can you have a long one and a shorter one, for the ADA compliant? Do you have a rail? Do you have a smaller rail?
We do
or?
have a track ride. Yes, we have a track ride that is a separate piece of equipment altogether. It doesn't really have anything to do with ADA per se. It's just more or less the footprint of what it takes. We have a 16-foot track ride that's built on a galvanized steel track, and it's an excellent alternative to the longer zip lines if you don't have the space for it, but it doesn't change the compliance of the equipment or even the accessibility.
You don't have a chair?
We do not have a chair, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no. And your tower, those solid wood pieces that are on there, is that, you can't see completely through the tower?
I forgive the renders. They're just not, there's no wood at all.
Or what are those made out of?
There's EcoCore or HDPE paneling, which is just a really robust material that most of us use for building the paneling for the structures. They are open. There's not going to be a four-sided, and if there's polycarbonate panels which are see-through that allow for visibility throughout. The areas that need to be enclosed are enclosed because they have to be on a certain height, but you're going to be able to see through them with either polycarbonate or a steel mesh. Okay. And below that, it's open to, and sorry, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. Forgive the renders. See if I can see. A lot of this paneling can be configured to include more of the play panel, like you see the numbers game on the side here. And from that side, you can see a slightly more internal view. Everything is configurable. If this was a project of interest, if you like this structure, absolutely we can change certain things about it that make it, certainly more curated to your requirements. We can create variants, we can do anything. This is really just a great starting place, and it just all depends on ultimately what you're wanting to see in the playground.
I have one general question, and this is just showing my ignorance. With these zip lines, do you ride it one way, you got to drag it back?
Yes, sir.
Just curious. 107 feet seems like a long way for me to walk.
Make them ride it back. Make them ride it back. I think that's all of it, Shauna. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. Let us know if you have any other questions. And I guess I just was zip. All right.
Katrina, did that other group come?
And the reason for that is because of that.
Is the boardroom being used?
Decline. wrong way, so yes, it does have to go back, because it will be sloped down towards the end of the track. So it would.
Well, yeah, I figured it would, but I didn't know if it was options. That's why I asked the question.
But if you don't ask, you don't know.
Let's drive on. What?
We're going to go ahead and talk about this. If y'all want to, there isn't any place for you to go in the building. If you want to go to your cars, I have, I think, all your phone numbers. Or you can do that, yeah. I don't think we have any more questions. I think we've about beat this horse to death.
We'll let you know.
Thanks for having us. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. No, thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're back from our break. It's 8:02. And we had a presentation from Lee's Park and Play, Burt Child's Play, We Build Fun, KOMPAN, and Whirlix on playground equipment for community park. All, except for one, came under our bid that we were asking for. And we have 2 park board members missing today. So I don't know if y'all saw enough for the first time to make a decision tonight, or if y'all would like to call a special meeting and let, Larry look at this stuff and let Sarah look at it and then call a special meeting. Or do y'all feel confident?
Well, I was just curious. This is Cindy. It's kind of like buying a car. You see the front end of this one, and the grill looks wonderful, and then the tires look good on this one, and the seats look good on another car, but you can't pick and choose. I mean, there were things of every single one of them that were just magnificent.
I agree.
I just wondered if there was one that surpassed the others with anybody here tonight.
What stuck out to me about which one was it? We Build Fun is the amount of stuff that was in their proposal, the amount of activities compared to the other 4. I really like that, so.
Is that the one that had the all the panels and stuff? Or just a whole bunch of items? We don't have a book, or he didn't give us anything for our We Build Fun, do we? But we have, did they leave anything for us? No. We Build Fun? We can ask for it again.
You're our POC, so could you go and ask them for those 2 that we didn't get handouts from?
With the hexagon-shaped modular thing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because in it said, this count, there was 24 different ground level activities in that particular one.
James, from a Public Works, Maintenance, Safety position, did you see anyone that stood out or that, would be more maintenance than the other one, or would be better for our park than the other one?
So one comment I do have is on the one that you mentioned from Miracle. It expands closer to the pavilion and bathrooms, and that is going to cover and most likely require to relocate the water service line to those bathrooms. It runs where I believe they're showing that extension closer there, so that is a complication that the other ones did not have. That's Miracle or We Build Fun. So it looked like it went further to the north, and it's not that we can't change that, but that is something that would have to be moved. It looks like it's right there on the edge where the old water fountain is, and that is right where the connections are that feed the bathroom. So anything's changeable, but that is one that wasn't interfered with the other one. As far as for maintenance, all of these include things that we've never had to long-term maintenance. Usually we have had swings and we've had stationary things. So everything that spins or is netting or that are taller, we just haven't had to maintenance those. So I don't necessarily see anything we can't. I think zip lines, both they have both designs tend to have maintenance of some sort. On the cable one, you get the advantage and the disadvantage that they typically move faster, so it's more fun for kids, but also that can be too much speed and kids get hit running across. That was something that David Rogers mentioned that he's seen be a problem at other places, that kids getting, you think 100 feet long and a kid takes off, but you can't really stop that well. Now, most of them have some level of braking to control that speed. It's just part of it, but I don't think it's any more or less dangerous. We just don't currently have those things. I think kids are going to love a zip line. The cable, typically tension has to be adjusted from time to time, as it wears and, as weight's added to it, it just keeps sagging. You have to adjust those annually. The trolleys you don't, but you do have bearings and rollers that are going to go out. So I think all these are going to have some unknowns. I don't know what it'll take to maintain the turf. That seems to be everybody's preference. But we're up to that challenge. We'll do whatever needs to be done. My main comment is that I wouldn't want to go back to any kind. I want to make sure we're getting away from the MDF or the wood chips. That stuff is just a never-ending maintenance in itself. It's cheap, but it's a pain, and it constantly just kind of sinks. And I'd rather go with a synthetic, either turf or pour in place. So,
and Dana and I went to a couple parks, and one of them was only 3 or 4 years old, and the pour and play was already just being shredded from the heat and from so much play. So I think that turf is going to, NISD uses it for their softball fields, and they get a lot of, traffic on those, and they know, they do it a couple times a year. You can talk to Tanya, because they do it, and it's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
and it's a much bigger area that they're taking care of than our playground.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that we can maintain either one that you pick. Right. That's my only comment, is I'd like you to pick one of those. It's a very high price item. If you take that out, it saves a ton of money, but the wood chips have such a high maintenance to it. It might be cheaper to maintain over time, but it'll always be in the process of needing more added to it, under swings and things. People always comment on the divots. Well, those will come back the same day we fill those back in, because kids dig their feet in now. When you have them under the pour in place or the other one, they will still wear there, but you're not going to be digging the holes and stuff. So that would be my preference. But I didn't see anything that anybody offered that was problematic to maintain, and I did want to point out, I do think some warranties are better than the others, but the majority of the time we see damage due to vandalism. I've yet to find a time that we've had a manufacturer defect. They always give all the manufacturers, specifically we've had the majority of Miracle products, they give you a kit that has security bolts, a whole bunch of random fasteners. That's to keep you going, and touch-up paint. So you can touch up that and replace hardware that's missing. But if we have a panel that's damaged, it's almost not going to be a warranted item. It's going to be somebody has deliberately broken or, vandalized to a way that we can't keep it. They've cut something into it that's not acceptable. So I just want to make sure you all understand that those warranties are good, but those things are also made to hold up in a park, so they don't typically fail, which is good in itself. And the only things we've replaced over the years is slides. And the mallets for those, I didn't see anybody offering anything that had what's similar to the xylophone that we have. That's what I wouldn't want. Over the years, we've had the tic-tac-toe boards that you spin. Those have held up. Some of those stem things, those are going to be prone to wear, but none of them have the detachable things. I thought he had said those had removable letters at first.
I did too.
We would not have wanted that. But if it's just, you're tracing with your hands, there's no issue there. So that was the only thing I saw was specifically on the Miracle one, is I think they're encroaching into something that it'd be a little more in depth than moving just the irrigation that's in some of those areas. And then, and like I said, I do feel like if it is a money savings, and I think it is, we are okay with tasking our guys with removing that stuff. What I didn't want to get into is the draining. So what we don't want to have is us do the drain or the grading, and then it cause a issue with the surface, and that we are unintentionally liable for, they won't warranty a surface because we did the drainage portion. So I'd rather that stay in their scope. But as far as just remove the old towers and stuff, we are more than equipped, and I think the savings is pretty good for us doing that. And it's just, we have dumpsters and saws to cut that, especially if they don't want the footers removed. That's what we did previously with KOMPAN. She said, they're happy to do it, but it allows you to get a couple extra pieces if we go in there, and it does not take long for us to just pull that stuff out. There's not a lot of precision to it.
Okay. Well, it sounded like all of them would make some concessions, you know, trade here, trade there.
And every one of them have, you know, all the different sensory boards. So once we made a decision on who's going to actually do it, then you get down to picking out the colors, and then, you know, they'll tell you, well, you've got 20 sensory boards, which ones do you want? And you pick out which ones you want to put in there. So, and just about everything on them can be interchangeable for a price. So it was, the main thing we need to look at is the structure, you know, if it's what we like. There was one that was much more ADA accessible. And the one that had the ramp going all the way up, we've been on one that's very similar to that. And all kids like to do that. They'll chase each other up and down that, but it also gives the kids that are, you know, slower or on wheelchairs to join in with their friends. So, and if you weren't or didn't listen to that city council meeting where the father was there with his daughter that is in a wheelchair, and he so much appreciated just the consideration of looking for things that all kids can use, so she could play with her friends, so she can be around her friends and not sitting over on the side wishing she were with her friends, you know. So I think it's important because it doesn't limit the play of all kids who can do anything, but it gives access to kids who can't do everything. So.
One other comment I had too, and I had asked her, and she's going to check on that for KOMPAN. Their tube slide did not seem to have any kind of anti-climb feature. I don't know if you've seen some of the other ones, the ones from Burke. They have a shield that keeps kids from climbing up on top of the tube. I didn't see that, and she says she was in check to see if, because all these meet the requirements, so they're all, you know, meet those safety requirements. So there's some aspect of it that it's allowed. The picture made it look like, and sometimes it's just how the rendering looks. Kids a lot of times like to climb on top of things like that, and I noticed the other ones had some method of keeping them from doing so. On the ones you usually see like a plate that's in the front of the mouth of the slide, so when they try to climb up it, you can't really get around it and you can't get any real height. I didn't see that on hers. She said she thought it was in the material, or possibly like there was some ribbing around it that made that less preventive, but she would double check to make sure what component they were to keep kids from there. So but most everything I saw from all the manufacturers had ways to keep kids from climbing on the outside of the structure. And that's where I think you see most of the big danger is kids finding their way on the outside of that.
Were they all given the budget target? Well, then, to me, we should throw Whirlix out. 596,000. $597, $592.
I wasn't as sure with Whirlix anyway, so I don't care. Yeah.
I mean, that's almost $100,000 over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it was something we couldn't live without and we didn't have something that was comparable to it, it'd be different, but the rest of them came in on budget, so, yeah.
Wow, this is Kim. Hold on.
Say they include, like Lee Marketplace, that they do not include the rock clause and the underground utility. So does that mean that would be an extra cost to us?
Almost all of these have a rider on there that says, in the event there's unforeseen rock, and that is fairly common. Like it's in almost every contract. We had it, like I said, for the example, for the fence contractor. Mm-hmm. If they get out there and they're sitting in 6-7 feet of rock and they have to bring in hammers and things, there is an added cost. Right. That is rare. I don't think it's not been a problem on any other installation we had. It is, but to that point, we looked at one time years ago for the a water feature on the south side of the park where they talked about doing a very large fishing pond. Well, they found that solid set of rock at 6 feet. And so that's what kind of threw that out, because the cost would be astronomical to break out dynamite and move that. So they put those inclusions in there. I don't think that should be any kind of factor for any of this. And it is, yeah, I haven't looked at all their contracts, but I feel confident they all have something in there that covers if there's something exceptional. Now, there is no actual utilities in that area of the park beyond our sprinkler system and our infrastructure. So I know they mentioned they would call 811. They're not going to find anything. There's no easements. There's no utilities going through the park.
But it's good that they're still going to do that.
They will,
Yeah.
as a common practice, because it's the law. If you dig more than, I think it's 17 inches, you have to call them.
Right.
I'm just saying, they're not going to find that. And we don't think they're going to find rock, because rock wasn't an issue with the other things we've placed. I mean, we've put a lot of stuff in the park there. They're not going to that depth that they may find. So I would not be too concerned with rock as an option. I mean, nothing's impossible, but I don't think that's going to be a concern.
Do y'all think we can narrow it down to 3 for a special meeting?
I would think so. And I'm not sure I'll be available this month. Because we have to give how many days for a special meeting? 10 days?
No, it's 3 complete business days, not counting the weekend or any holiday of any kind.
So we
Do
could,
we have any more holidays this month?
right, so we could do it next week.
We would have to post it like Friday and you would do it Thursday. Tomorrow,
You're going to be on vacation?
Wednesday.
And I'll be gone starting the 3rd week in July.
Or we can postpone it to next month's meeting.
I hate to do that, but it might be the best thing to do.
I would like to get the other ones that, we have presentations from 3 of them, because I'm a visual. I mean, at least be able to see them. Now, if they were sent to me in email earlier, I didn't see them.
So we have Burke, Lee Park and Play, and Lux, which is going to,
We Build Fund did not leave anything with
Right.
us,
and
and neither did Compan.
Yeah. She's not, she's waiting around for that athletic thing.
But she didn't have any handouts for us.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, and I know this is only an opinion, it's pretty much between Lee and Burke.
I like We Build Fund,
You like
too.
We Build Fund? Okay. You like them too?
I do too.
Well, then, do you want to narrow it down to those 3? Lee, Burke, and We Build Fund?
That sounds good to me. I'll buy that.
And today's Wednesday. The earliest we could have a meeting would be, and you're leaving town when?
Town Wednesday.
You're leaving, right? I think, yeah, it's a big decision. Should we have all 3 of these come back? I want some visual on some of them, though. I'll get them to send me their presentation.
Be able to, email us everything, and then maybe James can look at that one and determine if it is across the water line or not.
Yeah, I'm fairly positive it is. I think they're just slightly over that. Again, if it's something that y'all truly want, we should be able to move that. It's not that it's impossible to do. I just wanted
But
you to know
they
that it's
might also
there.
be able to slide it down a little bit, too,
Yeah.
because that'd be kind of expensive.
Okay.
Or could be.
We would do the move. We would move this.
You do it the next
Okay.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that one of the ones that we're talking about? We Build Fun,
Yes.
Lee Park and Burke? It is? Okay.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion that we retain Lee Park and Play, Burke Child's Play, and We Build Fun, and consider these three at our next meeting for the playground.
This is Chuck, I second.
All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous, so we'll,
To the next meeting.
to the next meeting, convene on that. Make a selection at our next meeting. Okay. 5B, discuss, consider, and act regarding the Fit Block Fund Program from KOMPAN. We had this last time. This is Sarah's bringing this forward, and the representative from KOMPAN was here.
Back there.
I don't think
Yeah.
so, but.
This is the exercise. You can click on, go ahead and click on. There we go. Hey, she's on her way back in, so she'll be here in just a second, and the representative from KOMPAN can explain what this Fit Block is. Sorry about that.
Sarah and I were talking about this recently, and the City of Haslet had submitted an application for the Fit Block Fund, which is not a grant. We don't call it that. That's not accurate. It is literally funds that were set aside by KOMPAN to supplement any qualifying Parks and Rec department that wanted to include this into their community. And there was qualification, and so it landed about a 50% discount. So this is a turnkey solution for fitness, and we can talk certainly more about what and I'll answer any questions that you might have about it. But it's a $200,000 solution that we are providing funding for to bring the price to around $100,000, I believe, is what we landed at. So it is a turnkey solution for fitness. And it is an outdoor solution that includes everything that is cardio-based, strength training, agility, core strength training and stretching, and a little bit of a social space as well. And the intent behind creating a solution like this was to give cities a very simple plug-and-play fitness center that they could install. Some, like for instance, somewhere amongst Community Park, Gamble Park, Swing Bay, all right in the center there, to create some equity within the community and provide a place for people to be outdoors and, of course, utilize fitness equipment. Not everyone has the ability or the accessibility to buy a gym membership, whether that's a YMCA or your Lifetime Fitness Elite type of club. So this definitely provides the opportunity for people to come together. Now, KOMPAN's equipment is designed to be inclusive, so there's options for everyone to be able to utilize and benefit from the equipment, and precise examples of that would be an arm bike that one can sit at. It's great for you might know it as an arm ergometer, but you'll see them installed inside facilities. They're used for rehab and things of that sort, but they're also great for upper upper body cardiovascular training for somebody that uses a wheelchair. So you can sit at it, or you can approach it from the other side and utilize it that way. You can see strength training. There's an elliptical machine. There's an upright bike. There's some strength training, metal fixtures in the center. There's core and upper back and lower back training, and then there's some agility stencils that are actually created into the port and place surfacing, which is what you're seeing there. Now, this is a great solution. It's because it's completely curated, but also it is a turnkey solution, meaning that the equipment, the installation, the safety surfacing, which is unitary, similar to what you see in what you currently have, a port in place, and then of course you also see what is at the top corner, north corner of the design up there, which is called a social corner. We've called it a social corner, and it provides an element of privacy. If this is going to be placed right in the middle of an open space, for instance, it also creates an area for people to set their bags, their water bottles. There's some seating along the side that's included. All of this is part of this solution, and it just provides a grounding effect to the actual space itself. I do have, and I think I shared it with Sarah, a case study that was done on this. It was installed in Nebraska, and their Parks and Recs department allowed us to come in, and our KOMPAN Play and Fitness Institute to do a case study, and got feedback from the community, feedback from why the Parks and Rec team really felt it was a benefit for their community rather, and why they wanted to make it a priority to bring it in. And it's interesting, and it's a link, and it's a video. It's on YouTube. I did share it with Sarah, but I'm
linked in here. You know,
okay. Wonderful. Okay, perfect. It's worthy of a watch, just to see firsthand people using the equipment, people providing feedback, and hearing from people much like yourselves who are members of the governing Parks and Recs bodies. So it's definitely worth a watch. You do not have to choose this curated solution. KOMPAN is absolutely part of what we believe is not only play is important, but fitness is equally important. And we have focused our energies to bring together what we call as a common ground solution. And it really is integrating play and fitness, not into the same space, which can be done, that's a whole other conversation, but into the community, providing equality and equity within the community, accessibility to both play, and that includes all the things we talked about most recently, having multiple generations involved, but also creating another element here where we're bringing people to the outside. Again, multiple generations coming outside, doing things together, being active. To have these types of solutions adjacent to play is the ultimate goal. We want to see people using fitness equipment, coming out of doors, but still having sight of children, being part of the community, not separating everything. So that is certainly the idea behind the Fit Block, essentially, but also just part of what we do at KOMPAN as it relates to fitness equipment. There's a trend that you might see. Certainly, I work a lot with City of Mansfield, City of Arlington, and you'll see lots of walkways and paths and things of that being sort of built into and weaved around different existing playgrounds and parks. And you will see little nodes or pods, you could call them, just a concrete pad that's been poured and placed just off the side of the walking path, and a single piece of equipment is put there. And so you might see a quarter mile or whatever the distance is, but depending on the type of the path, you'll see another node. And so it's all very intentionally designed. We'll have an upper body piece of equipment, a lower body piece of equipment, some stretching, some core strengthening. Maybe there's some balance, because again, this is not just for the 20-year-old basketball kids. This is for everybody. So we've got equipment that is designed to help just strengthen our bodies and keep, the goal at this point, at least I know for myself, is to be as upright as I possibly can for as long as I can, and just maintain my quality of life. So rehab activity-based equipment, which often looks a little bit just like balance training and, just becoming a little more sensitive, not necessarily to the bent metal and the hyper-athletic pieces, but geared towards an older adult as well. So you'll see these little nodes very intentionally placed throughout the paths, and that's become a really wonderful way to create accessibility for the community. And it's most recently, if you'd like to take a look at something that we've installed in City of Mansfield, they have a beautiful park just off Watson Branch, and they've got this walking trail, and we are selectively putting pieces along this path. The benefit to choosing KOMPAN as it relates to fitness equipment is that it is all real fitness. It is not fake fitness, and I know that doesn't necessarily mean much, but what I'm trying to say is that there's adjustable tension, there's adjustable strength. The equipment actually does what it's supposed to do. We have an essentials line of equipment that actually is adjustable strength, so you can do the same movements and the same type of exercises that you see in the gym, in the fitness facilities outdoors, whether it's a squat or a row or a chest press or a tricep press down or a shoulder press. All of those types of equipment, our KOMPAN Fitness Institute has spent just countless months and years to come to develop this incredible equipment that is affordable. That's, you know, in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, but it is durable. It is meant to stand not only the rigor of our weather, but what we know is ultimately going to be a test as it relates to vandalism and people, you know, really trying their best to break things apart. So I can send some specific sheets and some information that provides you information if you're looking to move outside of the fit block as a fitness solution. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I thought you had your hand. Okay.
I have a
Because,
question.
see, I'll just talk forever if somebody doesn't interrupt me.
I have a question though, Shauna. My vision of it is to not have the big block, you know, because it just takes up so much space. But maybe possibly find an area where we could put a stretch of it. Can we pick out the pieces that we want and start like that?
Sure, absolutely.
And get something that, yeah.
Absolutely. The Fit Block and the Fit Block Fund are unanimous, like they're a solution, and they go together. But if the City of Haslet would like to have a fitness solution, it's whatever you want. We have fitness specialists. This is what we do. My background happens to be in exercise science, so I'm very comfortable talking about it. But KOMPAN Fitness Institute, we have fitness salespeople and individuals that specialize in, you know, building out the best for what you envision for the community. And it can look like anything you want it to look like. It can be a smaller plot, very long and linear, 1, 2, 3, 4. The Fit Block is nice because it is a complete workout. If somebody didn't have the ability to go to the gym, they can go to that, and they can have all of what is recommended by the American College of Sports Medicine as it relates to heart health, muscle strength, and flexibility. They can accomplish that there. The goal, and the end goal could be to have a solution like that. Maybe it doesn't look like the Fit Block. Maybe it's, you know, spent over time in phases, and you have a beautiful walking trail here. Those little nodes are very easy to put in, and it doesn't have to be such a huge expense. It can be phased out.
Well, and ideally, what I'd like to do is have it in a spot where the parents are going to bring their kids to the playground to play on our new fabulous playground. And there's a space over here where they can work out and still see their kids. But we'd have to figure out what that area is and how, you know, how big it is and then what it would cost. But I personally, I would like to see it because I would use that rather than going to a gym.
Yeah, it's exactly what it does. It creates common ground. So I certainly hear and appreciate what you're saying. And we can build whatever you want. We can do whatever you want. It's you guys. It's your community.
Does
The block is 40 by 40. So if you had a 40 by 40 space, that would fit there, and it would do exactly that in terms of create visibility to the playground. And honestly, I'd have to look at Google Earth to see where it would fit in.
Yeah,
in
we'll
that
have to
space.
look around too.
But,
And not dispose the disc golf too much.
Right, again, I'm not 100% what's already in place, and if
Yeah.
it's an activity that's highly utilized by the community, then you don't want to remove that.
Now, does the size of it determine the discount or the,
It's just, the Fit Block is a product.
okay,
And then we have hundreds of other options and products and configurations and things of that sort. I had just worked with Sarah on the Fit Block because we had this fund that we had, so it was like, this is kind of like a wow result for half the cost, essentially. But like I said, if you are interested in having something, we can customize it to whatever you want, to whatever you need. If
Yeah,
you-
I think what we can do here is just say that we want to further investigate this, not act on the Fit Block today,
Sure, that's
but
fair.
further investigate what you have to offer in your workout equipment. And we would need to look and see where we could put it in our park. So I think,
could you pretty much go by any dimension?
Pretty much. The equipment, and there's certain types of equipment, anything that has greater than a 39-inch critical fall height, which means that if I can step onto something or grab onto something and pull myself up, if there's going to be more than 39 inches before I hit the ground, then I have to have a safety use zone. There has to be safety material, meaning like a unitary surfacing or something that has attenuating materials like port in place or turf. EWF is not recommended with fitness equipment because it's not grippy and it's slidey. Yeah. It's not as stable, you can't really get good traction with your feet. So we don't recommend the EWF. But
EWS is what?
Oh, I'm sorry, the mulch, it's the engineered wood fiber
Okay.
that we
Okay.
avoid as much as we can.
Right, because it's slippery, yeah.
It's slippery, and I think Haslet's trying to avoid that. So, depending on the equipment, you may or may not require attenuating material under that unitary surfacing. But it's very possible to curate a solution that we steer clear of any types of equipment, because we have so many different things. We have all of these large combination units that we put into universities because these guys are, doing chin-ups and pull-ups and all the things. That does require safety surfacing. And so for a budget, we'd want to steer clear of that. And so probably the best way to approach this is determine how much money the city would like to put towards a fitness solution, and then we work with that. Because that's the best way. It's like if you have $100,000 or you have $50,000, let's tailor our solution to meet that in a group effort, and we'll discount wherever we can. We would love to have a pilot program here for our essentials line, if you would be interested in doing that, and have a case study, published on KOMPAN's website with the City of Haslet. I don't know if that appeals to anyone, but we would be very, very happy to look at some pretty strong discounting if you were interested in looking at our essentials fitness line. We're here to make it possible.
That's the thing that you have besides the zip line? Or,
Fit block, besides the Fit block, is that what you mean?
yeah. What do you,
When I say essentials fit strength, it's a line of fitness equipment that we
Okay.
have. And I don't know how much time you want to spend on this. I don't want to.
not much tonight since we've already been here a while, yeah.
Late. But I will send some more information to, I can copy whomever would like to receive it, that is, or we could, I'd be happy to present at another meeting specific to fitness where maybe we're fresh in the evening or something.
The notes that I had said that the Fit Block Fund was open from May 1st through June 30th of '26. Is that correct, or?
It's correct, but it's going to be okay. You have some time.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Have some time. Yeah, definitely. But I will say that if you are interested to learn more about fitness and you'd like to have a deeper dive with a presentation where we can talk about some pre-designed solutions or something that's very specific, if you give me an area to look at here, and I can go into Google Earth and I can just, and go out and measure it myself, as I did with Community Park, I can share a couple of design options. A great
That and a budget would be nice.
a budget, and a budget from you, like what's the threshold? What's
Right.
the most the city would like to put towards this, and what can we do? We'll do as much as we possibly can.
Right. Okay, and we'll just put that on our future agenda and keep talking about that, and,
So
yeah.
can we just table this, Katrina? This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion that we table this to our next meeting.
You tabled it last time, so I'm gonna need a motion to remove it from the table, and then we'll do the new motion to.
I'm thinking that. All right, this is Cindy. I'd like to remove, remove from the table the item 5B. That it? Yeah, second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, now you can do your new motion, Cindy motion to table.
No, you got to table it again now.
But yes, that one. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we table the KOMPAN fit block, or item 5B, until next meeting. And hopefully, maybe have some parameters that Shauna can work with.
That'd be great. Yeah, just let me know. I'll come back whenever and give you whatever you need.
And I'll second them. Thank you. I'm gonna read it.
Mine's the only one working.
Hi, this is Kim, I second.
Hey, all in favor?
Yeah.
Hey, it's unanimous. Okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, you're welcome. No problem. And I can leave,
Okay, C, discuss, consider, and act regarding National Fitness Campaign Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas grant for outdoor fitness courts. I'd like to table this till the next meeting.
Okay, it's already tabled, so you can just not remove it from the table, or you can take it off the table and retable it.
I'll just leave it tabled. Okay. Hey, 5D, discuss, oh, do I need to have a motion?
No, just don't do anything.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's still tabled from the June meeting.
Okay. 5D, discuss and consider a troll statue as an art installation in the park. Can you pull that up? I don't know anything about this. This is something Sarah brought forward.
I know about it.
Yours is working until I touch it.
Well, it's already kind of unable to find, I don't know.
Mine's working. Mine's working.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat this because we lost our power, I think. 5D, discuss, consider a troll statue as an art installation in the park. Cindy's got information.
I have seen these before, and they're all across the United States, I think, and in other countries. But artists, you hire an artist.
It's all in my report. In your packet. Can you put it on this page?
Yeah.
Okay, the pictures on
Right
your,
there, there you go. You can read from there if you want.
well, you can read it. What I'd like to do is send this to City Council as a consideration, since it's way more than we have money for. Let them discuss if it's a thing that they would consider putting in our park. Sarah had mentioned that over by the railroad tracks on the south side, there's like some trees. They kind of want it to be a surprise when people find them. But these are huge, monumental statues that people and artists will build. And they're really pretty cool. And would be something really different than anybody else has for a long ways around us.
So I think we're looking for, just to make you guys aware of this request, it's not an action item, but if you wanted to, discuss and see if it's something that you would embrace, a council member request is going to be made at the council level, but they wanted you guys to see it first. At least that's my understanding.
So the city council is going to take this up?
A specific member on the city council is requesting it go forward, but they wanted to share it with the park.
Do you know what fund it would come out of? It's $100,000 to $500,000. Do you know where that fund would come from?
They just said, I know of several funding sources, and in the report it says that some local arts nonprofit, park conservatory, different funding. There may be some city tourism tax money or private donors or sponsors, things like that to fund it. I mean, we do have.
I know it's kind of out there.
If it can be done with private donations, but I think that's not a good use of taxpayer dollar.
Okay.
That's just my
But
opinion.
I think that what they wanted to know is if we didn't have to pay for it, do you think it would be something fun to put in our
You mean if the
parks?
city didn't have to pay for it?
Or the park board didn't have to come up with the money?
No.
Well, that's up to the city council.
Well, it's my understanding that there may be some tourism tax money that is very specific what you can use it for, and if this project is eligible for it, I don't know how much money that is, though.
But then it would be up to them to find the funding for it. If city council decides. Yeah, okay. Is it something really? Okay. Would be cool.
So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to just say,
Discussion was held and the park board.
okay, discussion was held, the park board says if the city council can come up with private funding, can find a place to place the troll in one of the city parks.
And you could just stop mowing around it. Just let the grass grow up and.
Private funding, but not use tax dollars. Correct?
Is that how you want it stated? Correct.
Park board would agree with the project if the city council could get private funding and not use tax dollars. You want to edit that?
Yep, sounds good.
I think that'll do because it's not an action item. Sarah didn't ask for it.
Okay. Okay, 5E, Discuss, consider, and act to make a recommendation to City Council to award a contract for the redesign of the Haslet Community Park Memorial Garden. Okay,
Yep. If you'll, can you open the bid sheet? Bid tab right there at the bottom.
Big tab.
All right, so basically, we took that original architectural design, we shopped that around to see what we could get bids. Those bids came in very high, so that would require public bidding. And also, there was a lot of confusion on, how to quantify some of that. So we had to engage engineering to look at that plan, finesse it to make it where we could better evaluate it. So we held a public bid. These are the 3 bidders that chose to submit a bid, and they ranged, the lowest being $112,567.88, and the highest being $16,420. So MHB is the same contractor that did the drainage work, so the city would have no issue with, vetting them. They're capable, and they're a qualified bidder. So this will go on to the next council meeting, but we wanted y'all to see, it doesn't always come back to y'all. Y'all produced what you wanted. We took it out for bid, but we wanted to make sure you saw this before it went to council. And so all we're asking here is that if you support moving forward, then council will either way have to either award this or reject those bids. You have to close that process one way or the other. So looking at this looks about what was expected for that to come back at.
James, can I say one thing?
Yes.
Are they going to or are they going to call Fort Worth's monument and have them move the monuments and then replace them?
So we can, is there a specific reason you'd want them to? I know that we've talked to them about moving those. That's not really included in this
I didn't
bid.
see it on the bid when I looked at it.
Yeah.
And I know that there was, and this is way back when, 2 years ago now, and there was going to be a $1,500 charge. But they guaranteed, they made the monuments, they placed the monuments. I would feel much better if they moved the monuments and then put them back. And I think that should be included in the bid. I can put that in a motion if you want me to.
I think that I would just add that to the motion. I'm sure we can, if they decide to award that, I'm sure we can have them specifically move them. I don't know that it'd be necessary. The contractor would be capable of doing that, but if there's a specific reason you want it to.
But if something happened to one of those, then, and I'm sure that the contractors have lots of insurance and all that, it would just, I would feel much more confident if Fort Worth Monument did it.
Okay. I would add it to the motion if you want to have that in there, because it was not specifically called out that they would have to remove that, but that could be added, yes.
I'm not following you, I don't guess. You don't think they have to remove the monuments
They will-
to do all the work?
Yeah, they would have to move them. They would be capable of moving them without needing to have a third-party contractor come in.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought
they
you were
would
saying
just-
they're going to work
yeah.
around them.
Yeah, we would make sure that they, protected that, and they are insured and bonded, so if they damage them, they'd have to have them recreated. But if there's a specific want, that's a motion you can make, and I think we could coordinate that. That was something that was talked about in the first version of this.
I think if they've already committed to do it and they're bonded and insured, I say we just let them do it. It's already in the bid.
I just disagree, but that's, and we can request it. That doesn't mean that the city council's going to abide by it either, because it's not in this bid, but. So do you want us to choose one of these?
No. So basically, we bid this for basically low bidder. So as long as these are qualified, we have no reason to eliminate the low bidder. So it would be So the recommendation would be to recommend awarding it to the low bid. That's what will be taken to council, because that is the way we did the public bidding. So typically, the low bidder in this, you can look at best value, and but I believe we looked at, it's the least qualified bidder. So it's the lowest bid of a qualified one. So if we found that one of these bidders weren't qualified, you could throw it out and not consider it, but the lowest bidder here is deemed qualified. We have no reason to believe they aren't. They've done other work for us. So the references would have checked out. So that's so all we're looking for is, just so you know, prior to going to council, that this was the project we bid, this was the cost that came back for it, and we just want to make sure y'all have support. So we take it to council and say, council, we want you to award this project. The park board had sent out solicited bids on, they're in support of moving forward with it. So really, that would be, MHB would be the contractor that'd be awarded. Now, if they don't award it to somebody, they would have to choose to no longer, to throw out the bids, and that happens sometimes too. But like I said, I do think the amount that's in here is what we kind of expected that to cost, and so I don't think it's out of the range of what it should be. And like I said, they've done several projects for us, so they're definitely a qualified bidder.
So do you?
Yeah.
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a recommendation to City Council accepting these bids for the Haslet Community Park Memorial Garden, with the caveat that I would like to see Fort Worth Monument do the removal and then the replacement of all of the monuments that are being moved in the Memorial Garden. And that could be included in these bids.
What that additional cost was going to be for that?
Well, originally it was $1,500, but I'm sure that they'll have to call them and ask them again.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I second it. Hey, let's call for a vote. All in favor?
So we're not recommending the contract by contractor, or?
I don't think there's a need to specifically, they're recommending to move forward with the project. That's what I think we were asking.
And she wanted Fort Worth Monument to move the monuments.
no matter who they award it to.
Okay, got it.
You looked at it, looks good.
All in favor? Yeah. 4, unanimous.
So like I said, this should be on the 20th, at this, the next council meeting for the request for an award. If they award it, then there'll be a pre-construction meeting. We'll keep y'all aware of it. Also, there is a project sign that's a part of those plans. I don't know if you looked at the construction plans, but there's a project sign that'll go out there near the park, so people know what's going on, and we'll keep you updated on the time frame. Like I said, it's been a long time overdue, and we're hoping not to go next Memorial Day. We're hoping to have a nice, pretty, refurbished Memorial Garden. So,
And should we mention that we would not want it to be under construction for Veterans Day in November?
I wouldn't put that caveat on it.
yeah,
Okay.
I think the turnaround time is expected to be rather quick. Of course, this is not expected to be a long, lengthy process. I'll have to look with engineering on how many days they'll give them for completion, but I would think less than 90 days for substantial completion, but it probably 30 to 45 days, I think, is really what it would take. But we'll give you an updated number when we know. One thing I will say, I don't want to get off the topic for these items, but any of these projects that we kind of originate through here, I think it'd be helpful if staff helped this process along. So for this one particularly, I think you had several that were identified a long time ago, and they're still kind of working off that list. The next one that was in there is the plugs and lighting around the trail. Those are in there, and so on the top end of a project, before we go to the planning, the bidding stage, we could always have engineering do an estimate of what they think it'll be a probable cost of construction. Those things change, but what they do is they look at what they've currently been bidding. They take all those quantities to give you an idea of this right here is going to cost this much. And maybe that'll help with deciding on how to proceed with the project. You know, if you know in the front hand that this is a $10 million project, you may go, oh, we don't want to do that style of project. So it's important to have engineering on it, just because, one, it helps people bid. So when we're getting in, like I said, once we get above that, you know, now it's 100,000, you have to publicly bid things unless you can go through a purchasing contract. These kind of things can't be done through a purchasing contract typically, because it's a construction of something. You're not really buying something, they're building it. If you purchase something, we can go through another bidding thing. So that would be my recommendation is y'all decide the project. We give you a rough idea what that's gonna cost based on what you say the scope is. Y'all determine the criteria. We put together whether it needs to be a bid proposal, and we just do all the letter work, bringing it back and forth. And then similar to the playground in the past, it's been many a year back, but in the past, park board would typically say, this is what we're after. We want a playground that fits in this space. We want these components of it. We want, you know, towers and slides or zip lines. And we could do that level of legwork. And how we've done it with this, there's several ways that you can do it. All of these manufacturers submit bids through purchasing contracts. So for example, you can go through like the Buy Board, Sourcewell, HGAC. These are where they choose to be involved in a program where they submit a bid and they have to provide a discount. So for several, if it says in there that the Buy Board and they're showing you that published discount, that's how they were awarded that state contract. And it keeps you from having to go through a formal bidding process where, you know, we had to advertise ours for at least 30 days, have 2 different advertisements in the paper. We had to hold a public meeting with closed bids. You open them up. We read all the bids aloud so everybody saw the exact criteria. And that does, there's a cost component with doing those, but you have to on a bidded project. These, you could have just said, we like one of these manufacturers and just work with them exclusively. Now in the past, what we've done is we've figured out the space you wanted, the components you wanted, and also a price range. If you knew, you know, we want to spend this kind of money, you know, we want to have a $500,000 investment, we want to get this, we can get with them, find out what's reasonable, if that's even a reasonable goal, get proposals from them. Usually we would have, this is, like I said, you can do this a whole bunch of different ways, but in the past, we would have done that legwork, brought you back some proposals, and the way we've done it previously is based on the proposals, we would have y'all pick the company you wanted to move forward with. Then we would work exclusively with that company to refine what you're getting and then make the recommendation to council. It's very similar. I'm just saying it would have you pick, you know, this is all the stuff they can do, the types of things they can provide, and then everybody else kind of steps away and you tell them this is what we're after. They bring you a refined one, and that's how we've done it in the past, and that worked pretty well. So that would be my suggestion on these as we go in the future is let us do some of that legwork. Let us handle the proposal end of it if it's helpful to y'all. I mean, there's nothing that prohibits you, I think, for y'all from doing those. The question I had on here too is how did they do these bids? These are proposals, and were they published, or how do we do the solicitation for bid?
I don't know.
So
I don't know, but I told all of them that because they were presenting and they were presenting to the board, this is public information. It's being recorded. The public can watch it. The public will have this information. So,
yeah. And actually, we'll verify there's no issue on the how we did this. Like I said, on all these, you could pick each one of these manufacturers. You can directly pick. Like I said, the last time we did not do sealed proposals, just because it's so hard because each person offers a different variation. So the easiest way is to just find what you like out of this. You definitely need to give equal opportunity to see what's out there. That way, you're not just. Yeah, and that there's a fair, you know, it has to be fair. But My point was on these, they can be purchased directly because they have a contract you can utilize. So,
Action items on expenditures and planning of future events, movie in the park, October 9th, 2026.
I just have the quote for the screen from Funflix that we've had before. It's the same price, $1,192.83, if you guys want to approve that. You already voted on the movie, and we've already got that set up for that event. And here is your flyer. $93 for the screen.
and is that the same one that's done the last two?
Yes, sir.
Yep. They've done a really good job. It's very easy to see, and they use good projectors.
And we also lucked out and got bigger than we ordered once or twice. Yeah.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
This is Cindy. I'm going to make a motion to use up to $1,200 for moving the park for the screen and anything else we need for moving the park.
Okay, and second?
This is Chuck, I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, unanimous.
Okay.
Hey, National Night Out, October 6th,
Pretty much.
2026, from 6 to 8 p.m. You need to approve anything on that for you? Nope. Okay, Veterans Day event, November 11th, 2026. Do we have a time?
I've heard zero from the VFW, and Katrina's contacted them, and I've contacted them. I don't know. I don't know if something's going on over there, or
Maybe we need to go over on Sunday afternoon and visit with somebody. They're usually there.
are they usually there? I'll try Josh.
Saturdays they
I'll try
are, but
Josh
I'm not
again.
going, yeah. Okay,
Okay? And
Yeah.
if we don't, I'll text you. If we don't, then we'll come up with Plan B.
okay, sounds good.
Okay. Christmas in the Park, December 5th, 2026. I know Public Works is going to wrap the trees. I think we probably need to order more light strands. If you could get a quote from the feed store. It takes like 25 strands to wrap one of those trees out there.
Do we need a quote from Public Works, what it's going to cost? I mean, with the lift and all that stuff that we,
So we always have a lift for putting up our tree, and we're gonna do that at the same time. So it's not any additional, we typically have that lift for a week. So it's already budgeted into our rental budget for the park that we do every single year. So we shouldn't be any additional cost. It'll just be a lift we have on site anyway.
y'all are getting really handy. It's nice to have you around.
Okay, anything else from that?
I have one little thing. If you guys saw the foam party at the 4th of July, that same company offers artificial snow. Yep, can you type in on YouTube real fast? I know we're out of time. And it's called Daddy's Spare Time Snow.
Daddy's spare time.
That's the name of the guy's company. And then put snow. And maybe you can show the video. But it's fake snow that would be nice for pictures, and a couple of us listened to him and looked at his videos. So I got a price from him. And it would be, for all 4 hours to keep the snow going the whole time, $900. And if we need his generator, another $75. We could have the snow just for the Santa pictures if you guys wanted, or it's up to y'all. I just thought I would throw it out there since he showed us his snow videos. But he said it's the same product that he makes the bubbles with, and it disintegrates before it hits the ground. It's not even like that fake stuff.
I think we should get it and then have the snow start when we light the tree.
I just wanted to get the price, because you were there, we looked
Yeah,
at his videos when he was talking to us.
and it's $900 for 4 hours?
For 4 hours, he says $450 for the first hour and $150 per additional hour. So if you needed all 4 hours, it's $900. It's up to y'all. And we could probably, you know, do this next month if you want.
I think that's kind of cool.
Dad's Spare Time was the name of his company. The artificial snow.
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion for Christmas in the Park that we hire Dad's Spare Time to have fake snow for 4 hours for $900.
Do I have a second?
This Kim, I second.
All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, we're gonna have more snow. Hey, updates on active items, projects, and event recaps. Gonna recap the firework and Independence Day event. I thought it went really well. I sent Katrina kind of a lessons learned. I'll kind of go from the top of my head, but I
I've
know.
got it printed out if you want me to read it.
Okay,
And I forwarded the email to all of you that Chris Halsey was very thankful for. Okay, there's that. So here's the list so far. The foam party was a huge hit. Do it again. Toddler bounce house, bungee jumping, obstacle course, rock climbing, axe throwing, and train were all good. Y'all think we were fine with one train? Okay. Make sure the electricity is working for all the inflatables and foam party. That's really not a problem. They just need to plug it in somewhere different next time. Order twice as many flags to put around the trees and decorate with. The balloon arches were great, and the card decoration was awesome. I can't believe both of those held up in the wind, but they did. Maybe a later arrival time for the vendors because they didn't really start showing up until 2 o'clock. I was gonna suggest we could even start this whole event more at 7 instead of 6. We could have had more food trucks. Yes, we could have, and as y'all know, at least one of them got dismissed. Maybe add an inflatable water slide. The stage was great, but set up closer to the middle of the basketball court. You say should be set up closer to the...
yeah.
The drummer got really hot.
They said the
so
drummer got really
I
hot.
guess the fan, we should have moved the fan? I didn't know.
He was still in the sun. If we would have moved him in a little further, I think he would have stayed in the shade.
More in the center?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Put something in the back of it, like a backdrop or something?
We talked about that, and no, there wasn't a...
It's so high up there, though, to get it to hang and stretch and, yeah.
Yeah, this year we had a stage, worked really good. I thought the stage was great, decorated really nice.
The water mister systems on the tents did not work, and I did ask for credit back. I haven't heard back yet. Water misting tent by the playground was a good idea. That's the second year we've done that, I think. The public works crew and city personnel were awesome. Fire department and were great. Tarrant County constables were very visible and did a good job. That's all we had on there. Does anybody have anything to add to that list?
And the beach balls were a hit. I guess next year we do 251.
More beach balls. Yeah, I think everybody did a great job, Katrina bringing it together. And the public works couldn't do it without those people at all. Man, they worked their tail off. So I appreciate everybody out there making this come be such a successful event for us.
How was George Washington?
How old? Oh, how was he? Oh, he did really good. He did a really good job. Yeah.
I think next year he'll do even better, because he was kind of nervous. Yeah, yeah.
And what did he say, Cindy? He has a Confederate costume or something? He'd be glad to come
Oh,
to
I
another
didn't-
event if
I
y'all...
didn't hear that.
So I forgot exactly what he said, but he has some more costumes.
Well, let's see if he wants to do something for Christmas. You know, we're paying $400 and something for some of those people to wander around.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else on the fireworks, Independence? Anything you want to add?
Can we give Katrina a bonus just
I
for
know,
doing all
she needs a
that?
bonus for sure.
We have to give James one too then.
Yeah.
Both
Well,
of them.
thank you all for all
And
your
everybody
hard
from
work.
City Hall chipped in. I mean, the whole crew was out there, the whole city was out there. It was nice. Really nice. Discuss regarding park facilities and improvements, Gamble Park.
Ready for your little free pictures?
Specific to Gamble, but I got a small, it's like 4 or 5 slides. And you can go straight to the second slide if you will. I forgot to add that. So we counted 649 vehicles. We've been having them use counters. So that's how many vehicles came into the park to park. And then
Before we close.
basically the accepted practice is 2.5 to 3.5 people is what they tell you on an event. So they have different standards, but they said if you have an event, typically it's 2.5 to 3.5 people per car. So that puts the range of people somewhere between 1,600 and 1,950. I would say it'd be on the higher end because it does seem like the majority of people had 3 and 4 and 5 people coming out of them. So it did seem like that, but it's hard to know for sure. You for sure had 649 cars, and they did have to block that off and turn them away. So that doesn't count for any of the ones in the surrounding areas. Lots of people watched it from home. People from just parked in the areas. We didn't have good counts on those, but that's what came into your park and was parked. So we all agreed that this seemed to go really smooth this year. It seems like it was very streamlined. The sheriff has helped with getting people out.
That wasn't so smooth and we'll have to.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, this worked as well as we would have expected. I think we only had one lost child for a small amount of time. That was the only hiccup, so no complaints on ours, and we liked the way it ran. Next slide when you get a chance there, Will. So the request was to replace the soccer goals, and I think Adam told y'all. So we did have soccer goals there, and they're still in existence, but they're not very portable. That's why they were pulled up and moved when the tennis court went in there. It was requested that we add them. They were not a huge expense, and we had them in the maintenance budget. So since they were there before, we went ahead and just replaced them and put them out there. I haven't seen if they've gotten much use, but they've been out there for at least a week, if not a week and a half or so. So those are back pretty much where they were previously. And those can be moved around. They're fairly light. I mean, they're big, but they are movable. Next slide. So Nanceville paving and drainage improvements. I don't know if y'all have seen, but that is already poured. That was a picture before the pour, what we showed at council. So it is formed up and ready. And then the next slide we had, that was provided by the contractor. That should be a video if you hit play on it. So that is provided. That's like kind of halfway between the picture you saw before, but we thought that was kind of neat that they provided. One thing that's in this, and you'll see at the very end, is in order to gain back a couple extra parking spaces, we moved the dumpster right behind that cell tower. So there is room for a trash truck to drive in there and make that turn and pick up the dumpster from inside there. We're also hoping it's going to reduce the amount of illegal dumping. We get a lot of just stuff dumped in there. So if people see a dumpster, they might. And there will be a fence going that separates that area from the playground and all. So that's all stuff that I think will be beneficial. It also will get the kids away from the disconnect for the power. More often than not, kids will jump up and take the disconnect for the power and shut off all the power for the facility. So we're thinking these are just some little things that were kind of added in that will be a big help. But we thought that was nice. We don't always get an aerial, but it's done. I think the next photo here, we got a finished product. Well, oh, I don't. I guess you didn't make it in there. So if you've driven by, it is fully poured. It was poured on Tuesday. It is not open to traffic yet. Yes. Yeah, they did they had it ready for pour for Tuesday morning, and they did that entire section and one pour. Took a lot of people, but it looks really nice. So they've already cut the stress brakes. They will, usually it's a 7-day cure time, but they will, there's a sidewalk portion that has to be done, a handrail that's got to be replaced, the fencing, but substantially, they got the concrete in the ground, and there'll be stripe to help, and that'll add to the parking spaces, because without the striping, people have a habit of widening out, so it will make a little tighter spaces, but you'll get more people in there. So that's a good project to see finished. And that's really all I had that was pertinent updates for any of the parks.
Yeah.
faster than the fire department did.
Okay. Any future agenda items you want to put on? We need to start thinking about the master plan, because they're talking about it more and more now. And, you know, what we want to include in the master plan, what do we want it to look like? And also an indoor recreation center, if we look at, you know, funding for that. I know that's real high up on our survey list, it has been for many years. And going to ask
The other things on the list that, you know, the lighting and stuff.
if we could try to find some kind of grant for that. There are some grants out there for the indoor recreation centers, and I spoke with somebody from the city that was interested in looking up the grant and possibly writing a grant for that for next year. So it's something we can start thinking about and moving forward with. Hey, if y'all don't have any more agenda items, then the meeting is adjourned at 9:23.
Yes.